Okay, today is January 8th, 2026, and this is the third episode of this podcast series where I'm trying to talk to people and gather perspectives. So, today I am talking to somebody named theunabletable. That's his melee tag, as far as I know. I believe his name is Drew, and I don't know exactly what we're going to talk about. I don't know much about the guy, but I'm now sending him an invite to this Discord, and he'll join the call, and we're going to talk. So, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I don't really have a plan. I have one idea that I want to talk to him about. There's one quote that he said approximately 10 months ago that I looked up today. Oh. Here he is. So we're live, by the way. Nope.
Oh, we're live. It's not being recorded?
Yeah, I decided to start doing this thing where I do kind of an intro before the other guy hops in. Just to... So,
You should let the other guy know, maybe.
Yeah, well, I should. Welcome to podcast episode 3. So, thank you for...
Welcome. You hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
Do you want to...
Sorry for interrupting your...
No, that's
Yeah,
okay.
go.
That's okay. This
You
is
know
all...
what? Introduce something. Introduce something to them and me.
All right, audience, whoever you may be. This is theunabletable. I think your name is Drew, if I have that correct. So, okay. Like I was saying just a second ago, I don't know much about you. I think we first met on Discord in the DMA server almost a year ago.
Okay.
That's where I first...
Yeah, before I got banned.
Oh, before you got banned from there. Yeah, that's... But yeah, that's pretty much how I know about you.
I think we exchanged a few words during some kind of Twitter space at some point.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
we have bumped into each other in the online world here. So, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll introduce myself. So I'm Drew. I guess our connection is Melee, right? So
Yes, Melee.
so I started playing Super Smash Brothers competitively in 2009
Wow.
with Brawl in SoCal. I think, are you from SoCal?
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
So,
Whereabouts in SoCal?
Orange County right now. So,
Orange County. Yeah, okay.
yeah.
I kind of grew up there. I was
Nice.
homeschooled, and my homeschool group was in Orange County.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Uh,
Nice.
I guess we're mentioning I don't know if my academic background is relevant. So
Sure.
I was actually unschooled, so I wasn't taught anything. I wasn't taught English, math, science, any of that. And my first experience with anything like math was in community college at 17, and I quickly became very enamored, and then studied math at Berkeley for my undergrad,
Damn.
and then I taught for a few years after that. I was director of a math tutoring center, and then last year, uh, August 2024, I moved to Ann Arbor, Michigan to do a master's in data science. Basically, I
Wow.
got terrified that they're going to automate tutoring, and I'm trying to jump on
Yeah.
while there's still time. And so now I'm finishing my degree, and I'm a researcher at U of M in mobile health.
Damn. So it
Um,
turns out we never
so
needed school, it sounds like. So,
yeah, I think so. Yeah, you don't really learn a lot in high school, it seems. I was always so scared I was going to be like totally behind, and then it was like I took a basic algebra class, and then I studied a bunch of math over the winter break, and then I was like way ahead of all the people I was around, anyways. When I got to Berkeley, there were a lot of really, really talented kids, so I was never the top of my class at Berkeley. But I did well, but
okay.
there were kids in those classes who were 18 who had done calculus when they were 12, and they did like Olympiad, and it's kind of ridiculous. In any case, yeah, you don't really learn a lot in high school, it seems. I
Yeah.
kind of think school is mostly daycare.
We agree on that.
uh,
So that's good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so I played Brawl 2009,
Damn.
and
Okay.
because I was unschooled and I did acting because I lived in LA, I had some spending money, and so I did some traveling around for Brawl back in the day. It was a very different culture back then. We might get into the cultural differences in the Smash community, but
I think so.
I
Yeah.
played Brawl until 2014 or so, and then switched to Melee. Basically, Brawl died, and the people
Yeah.
who played Brawl either moved on to Project M or Melee, and then Smash 4 came out, and those same people who had done either Melee or PM either went on to Ultimate or stuck with Melee. So I stuck with
Nice.
Melee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a similar story to mine, at least Smash wise.
Mhm. Mhm.
Impressive resume, by the way. You know,
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah,
cool.
I'm practiced on giving my CV real quick. Yeah.
Yeah, but just on the Smash side of things, yeah, I played Brawl while it was out. I wasn't competitive. I went to like 2 tournaments. It was mostly just with friends.
Hmm.
You know, I could beat all my friends. I was
Hmm.
one of those guys, right? And then
Hmm.
yeah, Smash 4 came out, and I played that for a while. And then I realized after watching the documentary, Melee was the place to be, and Melee's more fun
Yeah.
anyway. So started doing that in
Yeah.
2015. About so it's about the same.
Okay. Yeah.
It
So you've
sounds
been playing
like.
a long time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you play Fox?
Falco, the
Oh,
bird.
okay. 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 Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah.
could tell you were a Spaceys man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's just in the attitude or something. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Absolutely. It's
maybe.
pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. What character
Um,
do you play? Who's your main? I don't want to.
Jigglypuff.
Jigglypuff. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah. I played a lot of Fox. I have a pretty good Fox. I don't really like Spaceys, like playing Fox versus Spaceys that much, but I like Fox. Like I like Fox Marth, and I'm pretty good at Fox Marth. I'm really good at Jigglypuff Marth.
Okay.
Um, yeah, but there's some really annoying matchups. There's some. Yeah, so I've beaten some good players with my Fox. I think Casper I beat in a Fox Ditto way
Okay.
back. He was
Yeah.
a pretty good SoCal player. And always like low tiers, I'll switch over. You know, the Dr. Mario, he can't really reach the top platform, so
Yeah.
Fox is pretty good against him.
Yeah. I never
Yeah.
switch up. I've been Falco only pretty much. So
Oh, that's cool.
since I was
That's
eight
cool.
years old. So
I
pretty
played
much so.
Falco until
Yeah.
2016.
Okay.
I played Falco until
Nice.
2016, and then it was
So
when I went to Evo 2016. I was basically
okay.
like inspired by Hungry Box at Evo.
I think I was at Evo 2016. That was in Vegas, right?
Oh yeah,
We might
yeah, yeah, yeah,
have,
yeah.
but we might have seen each
We may
other
have. We
10
might have
years
seen each
ago.
other.
God damn, it's crazy
Yeah,
how long ago that was. Damn.
that was right before I moved to NorCal. So I moved to NorCal to
Okay,
go to school
nice.
in August 2016.
All
Yeah,
righty, all righty.
yeah,
So,
yeah. So there's the backgrounds. My understanding is you're so do you play despite my understanding is you're banned, right? You're a band
yes,
player?
I'm banned from all events in Southern California. If I sign up anywhere, I'm
Okay.
gonna get kicked out. So, but I still
Okay.
play. I've been playing on all the like the band events, the Mana Monthly and the Mav Melee and whatever else pops
Mhm.
up. I try to be a part of it. I flew over to New York to meet Manalord and Mech and Zion and all those guys,
Oh, okay.
which was
Yeah, you went to
cool.
the
Yeah,
yeah. Okay.
The Mana Summit. It was a lot of fun.
Minnesota.
It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a once in a lifetime event flying across. For me, I've never flown anywhere for a
Oh,
Smash event
uh-huh.
before. So
Right.
that was fun. But yeah, I'm not.
Oh, you drove to Evo.
Yes, yeah, yeah, because that's in Vegas, so I
Yeah,
can
yeah.
drive over
I
there.
see.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so I guess the main subject, the main kind of focus of the whole podcast and everything is like the social state of the melee scene. Um,
Okay.
it's it's kind of political. It's like unavoidably political.
Mhm.
And I think you kind of know that. I've seen what you've been saying. I don't. So I
Yeah.
guess I should start by asking, how did you? So for people who don't know, DMA is a server, a Discord server
Mm.
that started up. That was I didn't start it. I think Mech started. I'm not exactly clear on how it all got started, but it became like a banned Smash players hub that people started meeting up in. And I showed up in February of 2025, almost a year ago.
Mm.
And I'm
Mhm.
guessing, I think you must have already been in there. Um,
Yeah, I was
it's
in there very briefly.
yeah. So how did you end up in there, I
Yeah,
guess?
I
Yeah.
think I think I'm one of the few band smashers. I got banned from the band smasher place.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a high
I've
honor.
had a lot of these conversations with the kind of alternative scene. I think
Yeah.
so. I When did I end up becoming essentially an advocate for band players? So I think I'm the only like open advocate. I'm not really in the community anymore since Hacks died, but before then I was kind of the only open advocate for band players that wasn't themselves banned. So I played the game for a long time and I knew a lot of people
I see what you're saying.
and I have a good reputation in real life tournaments. Everyone trusts me, and the people who don't like me or like what I say on the internet, they block me. You know, if they don't want to see it, they block me. But I'm also usually generally pretty careful about what I say. Like I know the no words. I know the things you can't say, and
No
so I don't say
knows.
those things. Um, Not that
What
there's that much that I. Well,
what words are
we'll
those?
get to that. I don't know if there's single words, but there's some ideas. I
Yeah.
mean, basically, anything related to the trans topic is going to be extremely divisive.
Hmm.
And so I think
Yes.
only, I'm one of the only people that's like openly talked about the topic without really getting banned. But I'm pretty careful in how I talk about it. It's very sensitive.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so I guess I did a lot of, I've always been a big arguer. So actually, I have like 17, 1800 posts on Smashboards
Damn.
way back when arguing about Brawl stuff. You know, do ban
Okay.
Meta Knight, do not ban Meta Knight, what stage list do we use, this sort of thing. So I've always been a big keyboard warrior. And uh, I think the first time I did it, I interviewed a few band players. I did an interview with a rookie in 2022, maybe
Oh damn. Okay.
2022, 2023,
Yeah.
that I didn't. I never got around to posting it, unfortunately. And then I did a few more
Hmm.
of these conversations. I did them live afterwards. So that was how I met the Mana Lord. I had a conversation with Mech. Um,
Okay. Cool.
and mostly what I was trying to do was at the time, the discourse was really abusive for band players. You know, you decide someone did something wrong, and then you just
Yeah.
get this huge pile on, and then that person would freak out, and they'd say something unsavory that would get them super permabanned, and then basically there's this norm that you're not really supposed to like harass community members, but if you're banned, that doesn't really apply to you anymore, and so you become like very fair game. But then your self defense is kind of not necessarily for game. Anyways, I don't know. So I did a lot of
Yeah.
arguing with people who were very mean and abusive. I did, yeah, in a short time, I think I did an interview with Mech right after his alt account was found.
Yeah.
I did an interview with Monolord, and then I ran a protest at Genesis, so I brought this big sign that said unban on one side, and it said so you could write anything or anyone you wanted to be unbanned on the sign.
That was you?
So it was like a performance art.
I remember
Yeah.
that. I remember that.
Oh, you remember
Okay.
that? Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah.
carried around the big
Yeah.
stupid sign,
Okay. All
and
right.
so you could write down anything you wanted unbanned. So it could be poke floats.
Yeah. Okay.
It could
Okay.
be
Yeah.
actually I think the most controversial. There was Hacks Money on there. There was Zion. There was Ally on there. That was the most surprising one.
Okay.
I think that was put on there somewhat in jest.
Yeah. I
Um,
don't know the allies stuff.
and then
There's
on
so
the
many
other
stories.
side,
Yeah.
you it said be yourself, and you could write anything you felt.
Okay.
Um, and that was a bit worrying because I didn't want to walk around with a sign that said like slurs on it. So also anyone could
Swastikas.
censor anything that you wrote. So you could scratch out something you didn't like, or if I didn't like something, I could scratch it out. But you know, you could write it freely, and I wouldn't tell anyone what you wrote or whatever. Um,
That's
well, that
cool.
was a whole performance art piece.
Yeah.
I don't have to get into the details on that. Um, yeah, so I guess I did a lot of this kind of advocacy, and my goal was to try to get people to just talk to each other. And it basically resoundingly failed. I couldn't really get
Yeah.
anyone that was like in the mainstream, like left part of the community to have public conversations. I had a lot of private conversations with people,
Yeah.
even like recorded or over voice. But none were really willing to talk publicly, basically because they didn't want their friends to get mad at them for talking publicly. Um,
Damn.
the environment's a little different now.
Yeah.
Um,
I
but
went I went into this thinking we were going to be butting heads and arguing and things, but it sounds
uh,
like we're kind of on the same page. I feel like I didn't know you did all that
I'm sure we'll
stuff.
find things to argue about. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
Um,
Yeah,
well, I mean, when you learn the things I believe, that made it so that I wasn't banned, then
yeah,
I'm
maybe I
sure
don't know.
you find that the reasons that I mean, it's kind of like there's like a thought crime, you could say, in the community, or it's not very
Oh yeah.
ideologically inviting. And so,
No, it's not.
but I guess I'm like morally lucky because I'm like a liberal Democrat. I'm not a communist, so that puts me kind of at odds with a lot of people, but liberalism is like barely acceptable.
Yeah, I consider myself a
Yeah.
liberal, but I guess that brings up
Yeah.
arguments about what that word actually means and stands for, and I don't. But
Yeah, what kind of do you vote when you say liberal? Like, do you vote for Democrats or do you vote for Republicans?
well, I don't think the
Do
Democrats
you
are
are you?
liberals, so that's the
I
problem.
suppose.
Yeah,
Okay. Are you call yourself like a classical liberal?
yeah, I
Is
guess
that what
I hate that. I hate phrasing it that way because I think that
Yeah.
that shouldn't be how it works. Like, no, it's liberal, and then there's the people that are not liberals. We use that word incorrectly, especially right wingers. They use it wrong because they describe every lefty as liberal, and I'm like,
As
no, no,
a
no.
liberal.
Those are
Yeah.
communists. Those aren't liberals. That's a communist. Like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There's a difference
Exactly.
there. So
Having lived in Berkeley for 8 years, I was
yeah,
called a fucking liberal more times by communists than
yeah,
by Republicans.
yeah. That's funny.
Um,
But yeah, the you brought up a lot of stuff there, and there's a couple interesting things. But like one thing that really sticks in my mind is the fact that you were an advocate and you weren't like you don't come across as like one of the man of monthly guys, right? Like I think people do trust you to not be you're not tricking them, right? Like that's what it feels like, but they won't talk to you because they're afraid to even have the conversation. Like Mech made that post a while ago where he was trying to reach out and he said, "Let's build a bridge," and then Hungrybox agreed. Hungrybox publicly said he was gonna talk to Mech, right?
yeah.
Like there was like a moment
Yeah.
where there was like a little like shining light, and then I don't know what happened. Like a couple days later, Hungrybox goes, "Just kidding, guys, I can't do it." And like we all
Yeah.
know that what that means is that he had people in the back end pressuring him to be like, "No, don't talk to Mech. Don't even. You're like risking your career by doing this," and like that's a problem. Like people need to like have the guts
That's
to.
true.
And
Well, that
so
said,
yeah,
I like as well-meaning as Hungrybox was.
yeah,
I don't think he's wrong that he doesn't know how to approach those conversations with the sensitivity required. Like he probably isn't really able to be a mediator between. I think that scenario, it was going to be like Mech and Moth, and I
yeah,
don't. It doesn't surprise. It probably was good for his career that he had
yeah.
off. It probably wasn't
Well,
like the more he should have put himself in that situation to do it. I mean, that was the.
so maybe I should just kind of lay out my sort of theory here, and you can tell me, just what you think
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it,
yeah.
right? So like I have a view of what's happening in the melee scene because we could like sit here and be like, okay, what is actually happening, and we can kind of. It's hard to characterize the melee scene. Like nobody really can describe what it is. There's no corporate. We all know that melee is grassroots, right?
It's
There's no
decentralized.
singular entity that runs it. There's nobody that is like in
Mhm.
charge or responsible. So like characterizing it, like who's running it, who's making the decisions, it's not nobody, but it's also not anybody. There's like this weird like vague cloud of people that nobody's really sure. Like I was just talking to Cody on his stream yesterday. Like I was on the Twitch chat talking to
Mm.
him. And I was just saying like the leadership's bad, and Cody was saying nobody runs the scene, like nobody's in charge. And I'm like, if the number one player in the world is saying that, and like then who runs the scene? So
It's true. It's true
yeah,
though. Really, there isn't anyone running the scene. I don't think that there's anyone that can speak for the scene,
yeah,
um, or move people broadly since Bobby Scar. So I think Bobby Scar at a time had like a moral voice. He could speak for the community and he could make the community's will you
Yeah.
know.
Well,
I mean, he
that
got us into Evo, right? But and then for a long time after Evo. Yeah, so I
actually, that's a interesting thing. Let me pull up Bobby's Twitter real quick. I want to check something.
well, I've had some exchanges with Bobby Scar on
I,
Twitter after hacks.
I just
Um,
want to see if he still has. Yeah. Okay. Here, I'm gonna share my screen real quick here. There's one thing I'd like to point out about Bobby Scar. I'm gonna share this screen. You can see this.
oh, let me watch streaming.
Hopefully, this shows up on the broadcast.
Switch
Okay.
guy brought y'all community sub husband father.
Do
Yeah.
you
Oh yeah,
see
yeah, and it's true.
this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Any pronoun is cool by Bobby Scar, right?
Okay,
Okay, so that's
okay.
now I can talk about my theory. Let me stop sharing that. Okay. Bobby Scar, like you just said, was a moral voice. He was a leader. He was at least a leader. He might not have been like in charge, but if he put out a video describing something that he believed that the melee scene should do, they would listen to him, right?
I mean, I want to
I
add some
mean,
material. He
sure.
organized the community to raise $100,000 in 2013 to get into Evo, which
Yeah.
revitalized the scene. Yeah.
Yeah. He
And
was
then he was the voice on commentary and
yeah,
yeah.
a
Yeah,
legend,
anyways, go ahead.
a
Go ahead.
respectable figure
Yeah,
that I
he's a
think
legend.
we all
Yeah.
love him. You know, some of the
Yeah.
best melee moments. He was the one describing those as they happened. But so here's my thing, and why I point out the pronouns is that if you consider the melee scene as this weird, vague cloud of who runs it, what are the motivations, what I see happening is a leftist ideology. Leftist ideologues are the ones who actually control the scene now. So there was a vulnerability. Like Melee existed in some kind of vulnerable state because there wasn't a corporate owner that could hardline say, no, you can't do this. So the way I see it is leftist ideologues who are not liberal, importantly, not liberal, have taken over the scene. And one of their fundamental tenets of their ideology is the transgender thing, right? And so to pledge your allegiance to these people, you can do something like putting pronouns in your bio. By putting any pronoun is cool, you know, Scar has declared his allegiance. He's putting his hand up and saying, I'm with you, radical ideologues, right? And then you can see it in everybody's Twitch stream. They put their pronouns on every tournament stream, their pronouns, or they have a trans flag or whatever it
Yeah.
is. And that's not, in my opinion, about trans people. When they put up the trans flag, it has nothing to do with a transgender person. That's like a surface level. It's just it's a gang of leftists that have taken control of the scene. And like my goal is to stop them from running the scene. I don't want to kick them out. I want everybody to have fun and play Melee, but I don't want the trans flag to control Melee anymore. And that's been what I've been saying since 2021, and I got kicked out for saying it. I've been banned, like kind of intentionally, because I said, if you guys are going to run the scene, I'm not going to participate. So kind of like, fuck you guys, is sort of what I said. And I am called transphobic, and that's fine. I'd rather be called transphobic than participate in a melee scene run by this gang of ideologues. And that's
Okay.
kind of where I stand.
Yeah, I want to add some things on that.
Sure.
So I do think at this point, to be honest, the
Yeah.
trans part's a lot bigger than the leftist part. I think that in 2020,
Yeah.
you're a lot more likely to be banned for being uh, transphobic than for saying something about BLM now, for
Okay.
example.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
I get what you're
like
saying.
I think the crux is the trans thing. I think you can have about any political view, and as long as you're not advocating for violence, like you can be a Trump supporter as long as you don't ever talk about the trans stuff. You have to use preferred pronouns. Um,
Yeah, but that's,
it's more possible. It's more possible.
I
I
guess.
guess I'm just trying to say I think that the trans thing has become a lot more center to it than even leftism. I think that there was a time where there were like really active like leftist anarchists posting constantly about like I think
Yeah.
the probably the biggest event that changed the norms of the scene was the I guess after I don't know if the norms were changed during the esportsization, maybe a bit, but after the
The
was this
esportsization.
2020? Was
Yeah.
this 2020 when there was all the Me Too allegations in Smash? Was that
Yeah.
2020 or
I,
2021?
Yeah, I think because COVID happened, and then the Me
Yeah.
Tooing, because Me Too came out 2017. I mean, like the major Me Too
Yeah.
was like
I
2017, and then
remember I was an undergrad when that happened, but then the Smash one I thought was in COVID. It
yeah, it was
was either 2020 or 2021.
2021. It was in that range. It was like after COVID a little
Yeah.
bit. Yeah, and that changed things too. I like the esportsization concept. That
Yeah,
happened.
I
So
mean,
yeah.
yeah, it was very different before 2014. I mean,
Oh
there were
yeah.
big one. Yeah, it was the use of language. So like the use of the word rape was
Yeah.
like very very common. It was so common that
Yeah.
it didn't mean so like in Brawl,
Yeah.
like it didn't mean it wasn't even it was often not even used as a verb. Like it wasn't like, oh, I just wrecked you, I raped you. It was like you should I've heard this sentence. You should come over and we'll play Wi-Fi doubles. My Wi-Fi is rape. My Wi-Fi is rape.
So it's an adjective. Yeah.
Yeah, it
That
became an
con.
adjective. If you listen to enough Old Mango, you'll
Yeah.
find that too. Um,
Yeah.
and there were threads on Smashboards at the time around 2013, 2014, after the documentary and after I think it was 2014, where higher ups in the community, we had a Smash back room, said like this needs to not be said on commentary anymore. Saying gay, saying rape on commentary it can't happen anymore. It's bad for sponsorships. It's bad for wanting women in the community, which is true. I mean, it is.
Hmm.
um,
We might disagree on that one too. See, I have a weird stance on that one. So, but
on
maybe I don't want to get into
okay,
it. Let's just focus on the
I'll
trans
say
subject. Yeah.
um, the word rape means
Yeah.
something very different to men than it does to women. And
Okay.
it is a huge turnoff. It is a huge, huge, huge turnoff. Um, yeah,
Which,
there probably wasn't any getting away. Even though I don't think the people who were using it were using it in like, I don't think they had something malice in their heart when they used it. I don't judge the people who were
yeah.
using it way back when.
I'd rather focus
There's a,
on what happened
it
in 2020,
actually,
2021.
there's an old Smashboards thread you might find interesting. I think I
Yeah.
can find it really quickly. From 2013, you'll find a lot of community figures in it it's on transphobia in the Smash community,
In 2013?
and in 2013, and you'll
Wow.
see. Okay,
That's,
I'll link it to you.
that was back when
You'll
that was,
see.
oh, let me,
Uh,
here, let me,
I
pull
think
this
like
up.
Afokins is in this thread. West Balls, Taffikins is in this thread saying like transphobia is not a big deal, basically.
Really?
Uh, yeah, yeah.
There's a lot
um,
of words here. I might have to dig through this later.
yeah, yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah. But
transphobe?
you might find it interesting to see a difference in the culture, 2013
Yeah, I'm
versus
gonna,
2019, 2020.
I will for sure
Um,
look at that and dig through it because that's interesting.
yeah. Yeah, as far as the trans stuff goes, I mean, what do you there's different angles to talk about. Are you wanting to talk about what can you do about it? Are you talking about how do you get unbanned if you don't have the in vogue view? It is possible not to have the in vogue view and not be banned. It's just not easy.
Yeah, I don't think
It is
it's
possible.
possible unless you keep your mouth shut. I don't think it's possible to express what you believe in your heart and not get banned. It's just not possible. You could just have to keep your head down. That's what I've been told. Just don't talk. Just never talk.
That's the
Like,
easiest way.
okay,
That's
yeah,
definitely the
but
easiest way.
that's not fair.
Fundamentally, it's
So,
not fair.
yeah.
I'm in agreement
So,
that the scene isn't fair. Um, so if you want to change the scene, this is something I found frustrating when I talked with Monolord and these
yeah,
other band players. When I initially had that conversation, it's like, yeah, like here I am coming from the left, longtime player. I'm not banned. I agree this is like unfair. You know,
yeah,
how should we change it? What do we do about it? Like, I'm going to organize a protest. And I had hoped that, when I initially had that conversation, there had been some brief talk about Monolord doing a in real life Mana event. And it had been floated, like, what if you did that in front of Genesis? It's like, God damn, that'd be sick as hell. But it became quickly apparent. I think I wrote a short synopsis of the conversation after there were all these clips of Monolord being like a Nazi that went kind of
sure.
viral. After that, I posted a short description or analysis of the conversation that the monomonthly is like a prison. It's where you go when you're not allowed in the main scene. And my what I hoped was that the people that weren't in the community would want to organize in such a way that they might try to change the scene, which is very difficult and requires a lot of self-sacrifice. But ultimately, they have felt it best to isolate themselves and just become this side thing. Um,
Oh, you
if you
mean
let it change the
yeah,
scene, you'd
yeah.
have to actually do politics. Um,
Well, that's kind of what we're doing right now. That's what I'm trying to do.
maybe, yeah. Okay.
I'd rather talk with people and come to an agreement than have some sort of, because the way the trend is going right now, we're just gonna have two scenes. We'll have like two parallel Smash scenes. That just
There are
if
two scenes, yeah.
yeah, so like we have an alt
Yeah, yeah.
scene and it is like 1% the size of the mainstream scene, but we do play regularly now and it's become, I think it's growing. We have debates about whether it's growing or not, but there's
Yeah.
arguably 100-ish, a couple hundred people
Yeah.
that sort of come in and out. People are afraid to like show their real tag on these
Yeah.
servers, but it, it's they won't let us back in. And personally, like I am too stubborn. I'm not gonna lie. I will never ever stop saying that trans women are not women. I'm gonna go to my grave saying that. And you're either gonna let me in your event or I'm just gonna continue to build a parallel scene,
Where is it that you want to say trans women are not women?
just in my own head. To my friends, to my
Yeah, yeah.
family, on a
Friends. Yeah.
YouTube channel. I got banned initially for saying it. My initial ban was because I said it on Twitter, which is a little bit
Right.
of a challenge. I knew when I made that tweet that it was gonna get me in trouble, but I was like, man, fuck these guys. And so,
Right.
I made that tweet in 2021. I got banned, and I kind of avoided Melee for a couple of years. And then I saw at a brewery near where I live, there was a Melee event being run. So I kind of signed back up, and I was allowed to play for like 2 weeks until somebody recognized me. And then the TO, who I'd never have met before in my life. I mean, I don't want to go through this whole story for people who don't
I
know
think
it.
I've read. I think
Yeah,
I think I watched maybe 15 minutes of one of your
sure.
vlogs and prep for this.
Okay, so you know that basically what happened was I was kind of put on probation, and I went to event. I went to this event more than any other person in the scene, other than the TO, and nothing happened in person. I played Melee with transgender people, and nothing happened. And then when I said a transphobic thing on a YouTube channel, which now has 80 subscribers, but at the time it had like it has no subscribers, right? I'm not allowed to
Right.
say things on my YouTube channel and still attend Melee events. It's completely insane. Like that's insane. That's
Yeah,
unfair. They need
I've
to
always,
change.
I do
Yeah.
think you should be allowed to say your feelings on your personal blog. And I
Yeah.
do think that there is a really large difference between just having a view like that and uh, targeted harassment. So I'll give an example
Sure. Yeah.
with the reason I was banned from the DMA server
Yeah.
was on Twitter. Mech, this is how I recall things.
Sure.
Mech responded to some trans woman's pictures on Twitter.
Uh-oh.
They may have been someone in the Smash community. I don't recall if they had a connection to Smash community, but it was a trans woman's, and they posted barf emojis.
Yeah. Yeah. So
And which that's harassment. That's more than just like having a philosophical view.
yeah, I mean it's mean.
It's more than a
It's mean.
yeah.
So
And so
it's not
I
nice.
responded and I said, well, Muhammad's a
Yeah.
pedophile.
And that's why he banned you. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
He got really mad.
Yeah.
And it's rude of me to
Yeah.
say that, but it's
Wait,
not,
is that
it's in the same
harassment?
direction. Yeah, yeah.
It is kind of
It's
so.
harassment.
See, this is what. Okay, I feel like
If I find a Muslim person.
yeah,
But my point was like, because he was saying like I should be able to say what I think, and I'm like, okay, well, I think Muhammad was a pedophile. How old was Aisha? How old was Aisha? How old was she? And then he blocked me on everything and banned me from the server, and then we haven't really talked since. Because that was also a pretty hard line, because
yeah,
I put up a lot of reputation to like engage. I was the only person in the regular community to really like engage with him
yeah,
and in some cases advocate for him and to join his platform to try to have so that it wasn't all super righty people in his server that was for free discussion, and
Yeah,
for us to be united around like it's so unfair the way the community bans people, and then to be banned tyrannically,
I know. Yeah,
it breaks a certain kind of bond or trust. Yeah,
I'm not.
especially ironic. Yeah.
I am not in agreement with that decision. I don't like banning people either
Yeah,
way.
it wasn't a good decision. I think he regretted it shortly after. Uh,
Yeah,
but and a lot of people, made fun of him for it and criticized him
yeah,
for it.
yeah.
And I
I
think
mean,
we both apologized to each other
okay.
ultimately. Um,
The way I see it is, you should have a response for that. I mean, if you got to be ready if you're a Muslim and you're gonna, stand on those
he had
beliefs.
a response.
Yeah.
He posted
So
this like video, and the video was like times were different back then, and
yeah, it's a rough one. I'm gonna leave
okay.
I'm gonna leave that up
And I'm not
to them.
even entirely unsympathetic to the idea that
You
things were
know,
different in when was Muhammad 1300 700 like 700 800 80
sure, one of
something like
those.
that.
Yeah, back
Times probably were different then. Like
back
I don't know if
then.
there's evidence that he was abusive. Maybe giving your daughter to the prophet was for her best, was good for her. I don't know. I
I
don't know.
I think the Earth was spinning faster back then, so people aged fast.
Maybe,
So,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know, but yeah. So that's a whole thing. This has been an ongoing debate. It's funny, you kind of stood out in that server. Anybody who's like not a right winger,
Yeah,
because all those servers turn into like 4chan level of, you're gonna see a
yeah.
lot of Nazi memes, and you'll see some, you know, one of the funny things that happens, maybe it's not funny, is that people get kicked out and then they double down. So like people will start off as like vaguely transphobic, like maybe like lightly they'll say something that's like borderline, and then they get kicked out and they get upset, and then they just go wild with it, and they go, oh yeah, like Zion's kind of like that, I think. I mean, I don't know too much about his history. It sounds like he was always kind of crazy online, but
So confusing. When I went to
yeah,
Genesis, it was Hacks and Zion that so I made like unbanned hack stickers and hand them out, and also unbanned Zion stickers. I
nice,
was told when giving an
yeah,
unbanned Zion sticker to one of his friends,
yeah,
who's a 20 top 30 smasher, he
yeah,
said like I can't take that. Like if I'm seen with that, you're gonna have to make an unban me sticker next.
yeah,
um, Zion's a weird case because the his transgressions are not really documented, but everyone is in agreement that he harasses and bullies, even people who are relative,
yeah,
like people who wanted to unban hacks
yeah.
are like, okay, wait, you want to unban Zion? Like everyone has a personal story. I don't doubt that something that he's harassed people, is my understanding.
Okay, so wait. Okay, so one, we should define
It's not
harassment.
documented.
We should define.
Uh-huh.
I just want to talk about this word harassment because it gets used a lot. Like they called hacks a harasser. If like I've been
Okay.
called, somebody's accused me of harassment because I sent them one DM on Discord, right? And like they go, Matt's harassing me. That's one DM, and it wasn't like, hey, you're
What
like, I
was in the
wasn't
DM?
nothing. I wasn't being mean. I was just saying, hey, like I don't. I could go look it up. I remember who it was. It wasn't like a mean DM. It was just like, hey, what are
Mm.
you doing? Or something like that. But then they go on to a server and they go, Matt's harassing me. And it's like literally like this word harassment gets thrown around. And I think that there's a legal definition that we should stick to, which is like, I don't
Uh,
know. Like I don't know what the legal definition is,
no, I don't
but
know. Uh-huh.
surely it does not include sending a DM to somebody like one
Right,
time. Maybe if you're spamming them with DMs a lot, that's harassment. But even then,
right.
it's just like Chappelle has that bit. Just close your eyes, hang up the phone, right? Like you can't like harassment should be
Um,
like stalking somebody
mhm.
in person and like bothering them, getting in their face, and like that kind of thing.
I think you can definitely cyber harass. I mean, like I
Yeah, I
think like
guess.
Hacks was extremely harassed. I mean, if you get banned, you get you.
Yeah,
I think harassment is something like you know
yeah.
hate messages being lobbed your way. That's like cyber harassment.
I
I don't
guess
know.
it just sucks
Uh,
because like you saying that Muhammad is a pedophile wouldn't count as harassment
yeah,
in most people's eyes, but me
I
saying that
think it depends on the context.
that's true.
I
That's
think it depends
true.
on the context. So if the
Yeah,
context is I have a blog and I'm like I'm going to do a deep dive into
yeah,
whether Muhammad's a pedophile, and then I end with conclusion, I think Muhammad's a pedophile. I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But if I'm like specifically like out of nowhere bringing up to like
Yeah.
a Muslim, like, hey, well, Muhammad's a pedophile, Muhammad's a pedophile, Muhammad's a pedophile, and it's like specifically to get a rise out of them. I mean, you can do this to everyone who's has like strongly held beliefs. You can like deeply,
I mean, you could
you
do it
know,
to
if you want to
anybody
say,
on Earth, really. You just be like, "You're an idiot. You're dumb.
yeah,
You're dumb. You're dumb. You're gay." You can just
oh,
like,
sure,
you can
yeah,
literally
yeah, yeah, yeah.
just
I think
like,
there's certain kinds that are,
you
uh,
can just harass anybody about anything. Like if you're just
yeah, you're
mean.
dumb, I guess, isn't hate speech. Obviously, hate speech is um,
So that's where,
a bit nebulous,
yeah,
but
exactly.
like hatred over one's creed, nationality, orientation, sex, gender,
So
would be something like hate speech.
yeah, that's. I don't think hate speech is a real thing. I really don't. It's not a. It's like a tricky word game.
It's certainly nebulous. It's certainly
Yeah,
nebulous.
it's it's a made
Uh,
up. It's just there's no such thing as hate speech. Is,
well,
would be kind of my take. I would
I
say.
I think when so if you're crafting a community, you're crafting something. I mean, you need norms. You do need norms,
Okay.
and I think norms of you know um, we had a we had an ice climbers player in NorCal,
Yeah.
and there was an incident where some players from Sacramento shouted out the F slur while he was wobbling,
Okay.
and he's gay.
Okay. Yeah.
So,
Okay.
and like
But
flamboyant, like kind of flamboyantly gay.
yeah. Well,
It's like,
he was wobbling, so maybe he deserved it. I'm
man,
kidding.
yeah, the Ice Climbers Duke Pay was pretty bad in 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Uh,
But um, no, I mean that's funny. Like the joke you make is funny, but like if you're running a community, you don't want that in your community. That's not conducive
well,
to a community.
see, this is where I get. This is where it gets tricky because we then it gets the next place where the argument would go, like, if I said, well, that's okay, right? Well, then if we let people just yell faggot all the time, they're going to follow this guy outside and beat him up, right? Like it will create like a culture that will like, we'll turn back to like the 1980s where we're like doing smear the queer or whatever they did, where they would just beat up gay people. I'm mixing up a game and like gay people have had a rough time. Okay, we get it. That's what I'm saying. Nobody's denying
I
that.
think if your
You
local
know?
community is so homophobic
Yeah.
that they're going to beat up gay people outside the venue, then like that TO is probably not going to ban someone for saying the F slur, you know?
Yeah. I guess just what exactly are we
I
talking about
think
here?
I think
Yeah.
you're just now suggesting that that's going to be the counter argument is that we'd end up on some slippery slope.
Yes, that's exactly the point. That's what
Yeah,
people tell me about what I'm saying about trans people. When I say trans women are not women, it's not that I'm going to hurt a trans person. It's that I'm promoting a cultural movement that will end up hurting trans people down the road, right? And like that's their argument. I think. Because like I can say it 1,000 times. I'm not going to hurt a trans person. I have no hatred. But then they'll say either that I'm lying about that and that I secretly harbor resentment, or that what I'm doing is creating that culture that will hurt them. And
I'm
I
sure you do harbor some resentment.
not in particular, no. My resentment's really against the ideology that uses them as a shield, that uses them as a football.
Mhm.
So I don't think it's about trans people at all. It never really has been. To me, it's a leftist ideology that I would call not liberal, first of all, and the best word. If you want to get into it, this has always been my main thing. I think it's a version of Marxism. I think it's a
There's a lot of Marxists.
it's a
Yeah, for
twisted
sure.
version of Marxism. So, whoa,
Oh,
internal temp high. Whoa, the computer's nice. Is that the camera doing
interesting.
that?
Okay, well, that's my camera. I guess if
Oh, you can.
you hear me okay?
Yeah,
I
we
can
can.
I can swap something over. Hold on.
All right.
I don't know that I'll look.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, we don't even.
Give me a sec.
That
Let me
was
just move
actually
some things around.
that's good timing because I was about to go down
Uh,
the rabbit hole anyway. So the way I see it is that this. Oh, hello. Got some goldfish in the background there. Nice. I love goldfish. So, but yep. Just let me know when you're ready. We got dead air
okay.
time. Sorry, listeners. We're
No, I think it's fixed up enough.
I'm
Yeah.
not going to edit any of this out. This is all part of the video. So, you still hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I hear
Okay.
you. Okay.
Yeah. So, what
I don't know that it's Marxist,
that's
necessarily.
so this is
There's a lot of overlap,
but this
but
is
I don't think that there's anything in when you say Marxist, what do you mean? I don't think there's anything
yeah.
in like the writings of
So,
Marx
this is
that
exact
imply.
this is exactly the tricky spot that I always lose people at. So, this isn't like I'm not this doesn't surprise me because I say it's Marxist and people go, "What is this? What do transgender people have to do with an economic theory of like capitalism?" Right? Marxism,
The association's extremely strong, so I'll give you that for sure.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
it's so strong that it's like why
yeah.
does that exist, right? How come every Marxist why is Antifa so filled with transgender people? What's with that, right? Like why is there a correlation there? So like, and then to me, here's the answer. Just to put it briefly, Marx was the one that was like it's the elites, it's the capitalists that are controlling the system, and the proletariat, and there's like an oppression dynamic that forms, and you can put on the Marxist glasses and you can look back at history and you can see that it's just been a series of small elites, small groups of elites controlling masses of people. And then you get into like private property and what that means and how they do it and how they control language and all this stuff. But for Marx, it was capitalism, and it was like people that have property and money and capital controlling people that don't have any of that. And then in modern times, the way I see it is that it's the same formula, but it's no longer about straight money. It's about identity groups. So one of the groups would be men and women. So it's the same story. It's that men have been controlling women, and so instead of the bourgeoisie and the proletariat, I can never say that word, it's men oppressing women. So it's the same story, and it's a way of looking at history. And there's this kind of belief that we have today, this like thing where if I say it out loud, people will scoff, they'll laugh at me. But what it's not true, or it's an oversimplification to look at history that way, to say that women were oppressed and that men were oppressors. I don't think that that's a correct way of looking at history. I think that that's a Marxist way of looking at history. And so how does this relate to the transgender thing? This is where it gets really interesting. This is a tricky concept to get across because it relates to history and it relates to biology and sociology. So if we look at chess, I always talk about chess because chess is a one-on-one competition where strength doesn't matter. So a man's strength versus a woman's strength, in theory, wouldn't make a difference in a game of chess, right? Because it's just purely intellectual. But if you look at the history of chess rankings, and we have a concrete history going back to the 1850s or whatever, you can see that in the top 100 of chess, it's been males 99.9% of the time. I think there's like one or two women that ever broken in the top 100. So then you can ask, why? Why is that the case? And then so there's a couple different answers. One of the obvious answers that would come to mind is, well, women aren't taught, like the social aspect of it. Women aren't encouraged to go into chess. A girl who joins a chess club isn't going to feel welcome. And I think that that is an incomplete view of why there aren't that many women in chess, right?
It's an
What's
incomplete view, but there's a lot to that. The woman that you're referring to who's been, I believe, top 10, Judith Polgar? Do you
yeah,
know about her history, her
I
background history?
no, I just got sisters or something, and her dad played chess or something, and yeah,
Basically, her dad had this educational theory that you
yeah,
could raise a chess prodigy from the start if you just raised them the right way. And so he
sure,
raised his three daughters to play chess, and they became the three greatest female chess players of all time. And one of them was top, I believe, top 10 FIDE,
yeah,
which is that is strong evidence n equals three, strong n equals three evidence of uh, upbringing being a major factor, culture and societal upbringing being a major factor.
yeah. It's not. This is what makes it so tricky and nuanced, right? It's not as easy as saying like all men do this, all women do that. There's feminine men and there's masculine women. I've met girls that are taller than me, shockingly, and yet
Yeah,
men
you're talking
are,
about distributions. You're talking about
yeah,
distributions, and so there's a distribution that's more. So men and women are high dimensional, or they're multidimensional, and on these distributions,
Yeah.
there's a lot of traits that
Yeah.
are more common for men that are going to favor you in chess for sure.
So, okay. Yeah. And so my problem here, I'm trying to connect the dots back to Marxism here because this is always tricky to hold together all at one time. If you're looking at the top 100, like if I were to present that to a modern citizen who's trying to decide what we should do as a country or as a nation or as a group, a community, whatever you want to call it, like where are we right now? Where should we go? That's always kind of the question at whatever level you want to talk about it, right? If I'm talking to the president, like I show them the top 100 of chess, I say, what do you think about this? How should it look? Most people would say that we should aim for a world where there's more women in chess. That's like not even surprising. Like I think almost everybody would say, yeah, there should be more girls playing chess. To me, that is not a liberal view, it's a Marxist view. It's a revolutionary political view that's worked its way in almost into like our unconsciousness at this point because it's like taken for granted that women should play chess more. And then my view would be, just to take the other end, is that biologically this is just how humans work. Men just like chess more than women do naturally. Like boys or males just prefer those types of things. Like, and when you look at, you can Google a thing called the gender paradox. When you give human beings freedom, men and women tend to make different decisions because we're naturally interested in different things. And so this is what I think the transgender concept relies on at its core. To say that a trans woman is a woman is to say that gender is a social construct. You need to have gender be a social construct if you're going to create a world where there's 50-50 representation in chess. Right? So if 50-50, so if you flip that backwards, if 50-50 representation in chess is your goal, and it is a goal in this Marxist worldview I'm describing, because we have oppressors and oppressees. So if there's 100% men in chess, that means that the oppressors are winning. The goal would be 50-50, so that means there's no more oppression. That requires that gender is a social construct, which requires... I lost myself here. I always get lost when I try to put these pieces together.
Can I try to phrase what you're trying to get at? What I
Sure.
think you're trying to get at.
Sure. Yeah.
I think you're trying to say, in a liberal worldview, let it be. You let people do what they want to do. People
Yes.
sort themselves how they want to sort themselves.
Yes.
It seems maybe 100 to 1 men sort themselves into chess, and
Sure.
100 to 1 women sort themselves into ballroom dancing. Well,
Or whatever it is, you know.
sorry, I'm getting a bit
Yeah.
distracted by a classmate who took up ballroom dancing to meet hot chicks and succeeded wonderfully.
I mean, it's a good spot to do it. Yeah.
Um, uh, and you're arguing, well, it's not liberal for you to put your thumb on the scale and decide to change this
Yes.
or that
That is
to
exactly.
satisfy your own preconceptions of what the world should be. I don't think it's so easy to say. Um, there might be Marxists who say there should be 50-50 chess players. It should be 50% women, 50% men. Um, I think a much easier argument is if you're seeing 100-0 in any domain, there's probably something structurally unlikely. If the domain controls for physical fitness, of course, if the domain controls for physical fitness and you're seeing 100-0 participation, there's something structural causing this to happen. I don't know if chess is the best example because I don't know that like playing chess is like objectively a good. So maybe I would say like
Okay.
it's a game. It's a game. And
Sure.
like
Sure.
I think it's like a good game. Like it's I play chess. I play a lot of chess. And so like it's a good game. But maybe to butt against that, with math. Let's say math. So math
Sure.
and science, engineering, software engineering, etc. Strongly male coded. Um, but if you see 100-0 in math, there is probably something weird going on societally because men aren't that much better than women at math.
Well,
There's a lot of cultural upbringing that leads people to where they're going to end up, and it could be that math probably is a good thing to learn. It does increase your versatility in life. It does allow you to be more productive for society. So there's a harm coming to society because of some kind of structural and inequity that's pushing the conveyor belt of sampled people. Everyone who ends up being sampled F gets pushed on the shit conveyor belt, and everyone who gets sampled M gets pushed onto the good conveyor belt. It's a lot more complicated than that, especially in the 21st century. I'm not I'm I think that the gender balance or the power imbalance between men and women is a lot more like a melee tier list, where it's not like being Fox is the best thing to be 100% of the time. But if you want to be in the workforce, being a man is on average a little better. If you want to have a lot of friends and being popular, like probably being a woman's a little better, but it depends and it's multidimensional and there's going to be hacks who makes things work with Pikachu and it's not like that Fox doesn't have to work really hard to get what they're going to get. Um, Anyways, okay, so I said all this with math, strongly male coded, but it's super societally dependent. So in my program, for I guess I have a cohort of statistics students, PhDs, masters, data science students, and software engineering students, or computer science students. Um, and the makeup, the demographics are, it's probably like 50% Chinese, 30% Indian, 10-15% white or something. And then the male female difference is a lot less pronounced. So, like, there's more Chinese girls than there are white men in the program.
Okay.
Um, and that's not the result of DEI. DEI does not favor Chinese girls.
All right. Yeah.
um,
I mean,
uh,
it would favor
yeah.
women, though, right? Wouldn't they push for women in those kinds of programs? I don't know.
Well, right now it depends. There's some DEI in favor of men in universities right now
Okay.
because men, it's like
Yeah.
over across the whole country, it's like 60-40 women. It depends on what department you're going into, but these universities have a big incentive to try to get something like 50-50. I mean, that's a big incentive for the university. Like they'd like to have 50-50 men
Yeah.
and women.
See
That
that?
improves their product. That improves their product.
I suppose maybe at a university.
Yeah.
What
I
is
mean,
what is the
people
product of a
want to get
university?
laid. People
Exactly.
want to get
Yeah.
laid. They want to meet their
Yeah.
partner. Like the university provides a lot more than merely education.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. In that case, your goal is sex. So, and for
it's
part of the
a
goal,
it's a
yeah,
factor.
yeah.
It's certainly a factor.
So you do
Yeah.
want to get males and females at some ratio. So, but yeah, so
I
that,
think there's also more that's being crass. I mean, there's
yeah,
more. I do believe that there is benefit to diversity. Um, I do think there's an ethereal, hard to define benefit, and it's not universal and doesn't always turn out. But there's a reason that you leave things free market, and the universities try to do DEI. Like
yeah,
many universities try to do it anyways because the free market wants it.
but
In any case, sorry if that's a distraction.
no, so
My
yeah,
point really was it's so societal. So like I would say it seems like in math, in the classes I've been in at Berkeley and at Michigan, it's like 60-40 among Chinese students. And Indian students, it's also a lot closer to 50-50.
sure, but that's universities. I mean, that's kind of like a one of the reasons I focus on chess is because it's just who can win a chess game. Like a university is like a measure of a lot of things, right? How well do you do in school? You know, your parents are pushing you to do one thing or whatever it is, right? Like, and getting into a university is different than winning a chess tournament in a lot of ways, I guess.
I'm going to
So,
guess that these Chinese girls have got great GPAs. If you're wanting to reduce it down to like a single dimensional
yeah,
value, My experience talking with a lot of these Chinese and Indian girls, they're really, really, really good at math, and um, I think, yeah,
But
they're
that's
better than most of the Michigan locals that I meet, I guess is what
so.
I'll say.
I guess what I'm really focused on here is this concept that gender is a social construct.
Mhm.
So I don't think that that's true. But it kind of depends on what you're going to say these words mean. Um,
Yeah, yeah, it's philosophical,
yeah,
and
it's a weird statement that I think was created in order to support arguments in favor of equal representation. Because if I can say, well, chess is male dominated because that's just how Homo sapiens, the animal, works, then you can't push your program forward. But if you can say, no, 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 it's social upbringing, then now you have the leverage to push a political agenda. Because I can say, well, I need to implement the social program, give me money. Because if I change the way we act, the way we bring up kids, the way we socialize kids, we can change the outcome. So, like, politically,
that's
if
true though. That is true. You agree that
yeah,
that's true.
we
Yeah.
can change the outcomes, but I don't think that this is something we. You mentioned the benefits of diversity. It is good to have like the liberal goal, the liberal like world ideal to me is they all have the equal opportunity. You do whatever you're interested in. Interest is kind of socialized, but it's also not socialized. Like what makes you interested in something versus something else? Maybe you're just
There's a
born.
lot of random variation. Yeah.
Yeah, you could just be born being interested in chess. Like I don't know like what the
Yeah.
thing like one thing that they did right
I
quick.
mean, like Magnus Carlsen was able to memorize every like capital when he was 3 years old, and it's like, well,
Yeah.
he's probably gonna do math or chess or something where memorization's really, really, really powerful.
Yeah, his the interviews with him are wild. He can remember like
Yeah,
chess games from a million years ago that he didn't even
it's
play
pretty,
in. It's
it's
unbelievable.
pretty incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, so and which is going to be a benefit in chess. But what was I was saying that what was I just talking about? Okay, so the liberal ideal would be a society where selfishly, even if I'm behaving selfishly, I want you to be able to express your full potential so that I can get the benefits of it. Because if you can go out there and create something or build something, I get like in theory, I can reap the benefits of having you express yourself
Hmm.
fully. So if there's girls that would be good at things and they're prevented from it by some social structure, then I'm losing. I've lost by quelling their potential, right? So I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. But what I also don't want to do is create social structures that have any like in the way that I see it is if your goal at all is equality of outcome, you're a Marxist and I don't like what you're doing. If you're aiming in that direction whatsoever, I don't like it. That's like that. That's how I feel about it, and I think that it actually has a counterproductive effect. I think it's worse for women. It's worse for any racial minority if you're trying to. I think it always creates the opposite effect. I think it's just like it's like the way this ideology is designed.
You say equality of outcome.
Yeah.
That makes it sound like you're saying like 50-50 men, women.
Yes.
Um, I think most people, when you sit down with them and you ask, like, do you really think 50% of men are going to be nurses, 50% of women are going to be nurses? Do you think, or like the set of nurses is going to be 50-50? Do you think the set of welders is going to be 50-50? Most people, of truck drivers, whatever, um, most I haven't met. I've met some pretty radical people. Most people will be pretty realistic on this.
Would they? I mean, I don't know if I
That's my
agree with that.
experience.
Like,
My experience. Okay. Now, if you
yeah,
sound like
yeah.
if you're really pissing them off and they take some
Well,
contrary
yeah,
position or something, they might say something more extreme. But what I mean is like if I get them into the room like this,
yeah.
like people are going to come off much more measured than how you're describing. And if I were to say, really, you think that it's going to be 50-50? Like, well, no, probably not 50-50. Um, so I think the stronger argument that they would have would be something like, um, uh, you look at the measure of what the proportion is and you try to get some model, what would it be minus these constraints? And if you're less than that, then so if it's 100-0, there's probably something going on if it's not like physical fitness related. There's something going on. That doesn't necessarily mean it's like
Yeah.
the chess world's fault. It could be the world around the chess world's fault. It could be that Saudi Arabia ended up having an amazing chess program. They just filled out the top 100 with chess players, and like Saudi Arabia is really second, but the rest of the world isn't. Or, I mean,
Yeah, I see what you're saying. You'd have
could
to
be a
figure out.
million.
You'd have to.
It's complicated.
You'd have to figure out like what is the natural state if humans are given like the
Yeah, which is impossible, but yeah.
yeah yeah we'll
You can
never
try to
know.
do you can try to do statistics. You can try to do statistics to get at the
Yeah.
question. I think it's a question you can try to tackle in good faith.
So okay,
Um,
let me see if I can connect the dots here to the trans thing because I
okay.
need to do this
Yeah, yeah.
because
Oh,
this
yeah, we
is
haven't talked
where
about the trans
this
thing.
is where it all starts. So
Yeah,
I'm not
it's
saying
the
that
origin of everything.
I'm not saying that everybody like what you just said. I think is true. Most people, when you get them into a room and there's not like a heated politics like thing going on, they're gonna be
Yeah.
like, yeah, girls and boys are different. We're not gonna have like this equal thing in the end. Like maybe it should be a little more up or down in some level, but I think that there are some people who do believe it should be 50-50. That's a non-zero number of people. And that anything that's not 50-50 means that there's a societal problem. Like those types of people that have like the babies that they raise without gender. You've seen these people online. Like that's the type of person that I would expect to say anything that's not a 50-50 distribution means that there's a social structure that has to change. Because they're
Can we
yeah,
sorry, we're gonna end up looping on this. I don't think we need
sure.
to. Can we phrase this all not under the guise of like um
Sure.
yeah, can we talk about this not in terms of like stupid things that some people believe? I don't know any people that are
Well,
like that, and I bet there are people who will say things like that, and there are people. But
I
my experience is that the people I've met that are like that, often they're being a little extreme in the moment. I've
it's
met people who have like babies,
I think that
and
regardless of
sorry,
whether those people actually exist or whether we know any of them,
yeah,
like I've seen videos, but whatever.
yeah. I just don't want to loop back and forth on
Yeah.
like, well, I've never met anyone like that, and you're like, well, I've met people like that.
I think that ideology, there's like a conceptual,
There's an ideology.
there's a
That's fine
collection
with
of
me.
ideas that
There's an
believes,
ideology above the people who are
yeah.
partaking in the ideology.
Okay,
Sure.
exactly. So that ideology insists, like if that ideology was a character, that character would
Yeah.
insist that
You can
non-50,
name any ideology, and people are going to partake in that ideology at
yeah.
times.
And so that ideology would insist that a non-50-50 distribution is evidence that there's social structures that need to change. There would be a should. There'd be like a moral direction provided there. Because if
Okay.
there's a 99 to 1 ratio, the compass of that ideology would point towards 50-50, and it would give it things to target. It would say, okay, we need to change chess clubs in
Okay.
schools or
Oh,
what.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can we just
Sure.
say
Yeah.
an ideology in which, if there are structural inequities, they should change? I
Yes.
just don't think there's anyone who really thinks all domains ever should be 50-50, and that there's no impact of hormones and this on your body and what you're going to like and who you're going to be. But I do think that there are people who, if you control and find here's where that structural inequity is, it ought to be destroyed.
Yeah.
I definitely agree that there are people who think all
Well,
structural inequities should be destroyed.
I'm just trying to talk about the system of ideas.
Yeah.
So this system of ideas would require. This is where this term gender as a social construct comes from, because by saying gender is a social construct and it's different than sex, you're like doing the sex and gender thing. You're saying that we can alter society, social construct society. We can change society
Mhm.
to make it so that the sexual distribution is 50-50. So there's like two categories of causation. One is sex and one is gender. And the system of ideas would see everything through the lens of gender rather than sex. It wouldn't say that this is how males and females work. It would say that this is how men and women work. And since gender is a social construct, and since men and women are a gender, we see this inequity. It must be due to our society, our behavior. And since it's due to our behavior, it means our behavior can change, which provides a very nice spot push a political agenda, because if I say that this is males and females, I can't push a political agenda unless I want to say, well, we need to get rid of the Y chromosome or something. And like, then you're just being crazy, right? And I'm not saying that anybody believes this, but this is a system of ideas that people are following. So if you take it seriously and you isolate these things, gender as a social construct is what creates the transgender concept, because now my gender and my sex are two different things. I'm a male, but I might not be a man. And those can be isolated. And this is where this is the origin of trans. I know that there is such thing as gender dysphoria that goes back to before we were having these kinds of conversations.
I was about to make this objection.
I'm not saying that there's a category of human experiences that exist for whatever reason. It might be physical or emotional, that people connect to the trans thing. But I think the trans narrative that we're currently dealing with is due to this 50-50 thing that I'm talking about here. And this is it's really hard to connect these pieces together. And I think what's happening, if we're talking about the trans thing, always blows up into 7 billion different angles, because we're going to be like, what makes somebody decide that they're trans? Like, if I look at my own body and I go, I'm a male, right? But then I believe I'm a woman. It doesn't, in my opinion, in my view, the origin of that idea comes from what I just described. That there's this system of ideas, and it does go back to this oppressor versus oppression thing. And the problem with the system of ideas is that it has gained power in this country, in the Melee scene in particular. This system of ideas, if you oppose it, you lose power, and if you go with it, you gain power. If you're transgender in the Melee scene, you can't get banned. I mean, almost nothing you can do to get banned, minus an actual.
It's actually
crime.
not true.
Well, okay, but you know what?
There's actually like quite a few.
All right. Well, I didn't want to.
Players that I know that I also advocated for, because they were very unfairly treated or unfairly banned.
Well,
but at least with respect, actually, just to say something, a lot of there's been a lot of Me Too's, trans on trans Me Too's. There's been a lot of those.
Okay, I didn't want to say that trans people are invincible, but they do hold a special status now in our society overall. If you're a transgender.
Overall, or you mean in Melee?
In Melee specifically. Melee is like a concentrated form of this. So I think what happened in Melee was that it was vulnerable to the system of ideas that I'm talking about here. That this system of ideas has now taken over the Melee scene. And under the system of ideas, you can gain protection, you can gain status by being transgender. I'm not saying that that's the motivation, but I'm saying that that is reality.
You can gain status. You don't necessarily, but you can.
Yeah. And so the reason that I'm even talking about this is because it's just such a complicated issue, because there's a lot of things.
Okay, let me speak.
So
I think, so you take great issue with this idea of gender as a social construct. I don't think you're wrong that Melee is ripe for this concept to take hold. There's a few things that make this a powerful idea in Melee. One is any community in which I think you're having a highly virtual experience, meaning you're on the internet or you're identifying with a digital character of some kind. I think that some kind of identity dysphoria is a lot more likely. I mean, definitely. I'm a bit of a futurist. Or a transhumanist. Probably we're all going to end up eventually. I don't know if we'll live for it, but eventually, if humanity lives, we're going to end up in some Ready Player One world, all in VR. And in that world, furries are going to be able to literally be dogs. This conversation is going to be framed a lot more. There's going to be that conversation that'll come up: is how do you kindly treat someone who's like literally inside the shared virtual experience, like a dog.
I want to point something out here, because that is interesting.
I said a lot of different wacky things.
I know. Okay, because this is the transhumanist thing is gonna. This is where one of the problems with this conversation in general is that it can go in 7 billion different directions, and we can literally talk about this.
Many different ideologies around this. What it means. So trans people aren't even in agreement about what being trans is. It's highly controversial
Yeah,
within the trans community.
there's people that would say you don't even need gender dysphoria to be trans now, and I'm like, what
That's
did
queer theory, and
yeah,
that's
it's,
mainstream.
well,
Transmedicalism is the
yeah.
idea that it's like necessary, or that that an intrinsic part of transness is the actual transition from one to the other. And these people fucking hate each other. They're two sides of that. I mean,
Yeah.
trans people with the wrong philosophy will get demolished by trans people with the right philosophy,
I think
or vice versa.
I think there is a real thing called gender dysphoria, which always existed. You go back to what, 1000 BC, and there's probably somebody with gender dysphoria. They didn't know what to call it. They would have said you're possessed by a demon or something, right? But like there was like, I think there must
Well,
be.
some societies integrated those people
Yeah,
into being able to have the
yeah.
other gender role too.
I would bet. I mean, there's studies on this that there is something that can happen to your brain during development or during your life that there's that thing in your brain, the bed nucleus, whatever it is, where they have found that if they do a brain scan on a transgender woman, they can locate a brain structure that's more feminized. And then you could be like, okay, that's probably what's causing gender dysphoria, is that you have like part of your brain's not.
Yeah, I've read these. I'm a bit
Yeah.
skeptical actually of these. Personally, I'm actually
Well,
skeptical of this, but
yeah, we should be skeptical because it gets into more weird areas of like what even is an ego or a consciousness. If I say I'm a man, what does that mean? I've never felt like when you
yeah,
say
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel like a woman, what do you even? What is it? I don't like. I never wake up in the morning and go, I feel like a man right now. It's like I don't have a, a thing to
Yeah,
connect that
I have
to.
a clear view on
You
this.
know?
My belief is that the ideology that you're talking about,
Yeah.
for me, I treat it as a religion. I think you're talking about religious beliefs. It's a neo-religion.
Yes. Okay.
Um,
Sure. Yeah.
and so for me, and that is where I derive my ability to also accept trans people on the grounds of religious acceptance and religious diversity. I actually,
Yeah.
yeah, I frame about all of it in terms of religion. I think people are deeply attracted. I think it comes with statements about who you are, who you're around, what it means to be. It also comes with social constructs of not only community, but also it comes with moral systems. Um, so I think that the death of religion, it's not surprising that there's all sorts of, especially since the
Yeah.
rise of the internet, many kind of neo religions that kind of pop up, and there's
Yeah.
many ways in which I don't. I think there's a lot of healthy things that traditional religions have by virtue of um, if I recall correctly, I feel like I heard in one of your interviews you said you studied biology.
Yeah. That was my thing. So yeah,
Yeah.
genetics and comp sci basically. So a lot of
Do you know
biology.
Richard Dawkins? He
Yeah.
wrote
Of
some
course.
influential biology books way back when. I think The
Yeah.
Selfish Gene is where he coined the concept of the meme.
Yeah.
Um, and so the idea of so if we think of religion as a meme
Yeah.
that oh God, I got lost in addendums. Um,
That's all right. Something new
yeah, I
religions because we had the death of
right.
religion.
Right.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
so the
Yeah.
idea of a meme is it's an idea that passes socially and is subject to something like natural selection. So strong memes will survive, and religion has a lot of things that make it a very powerful meme.
Yeah.
It has things that make it want to spread. You want to get the people. I mean, like the idea of like burning in hell forever is like that's a powerful motivator to get the people around you to be religious. Now that's not always been the motivator, but for making people religious. But and so uh, I found in learning about other religions is they all have a lot of really common practices that seem very healthy. So, for example, every traditional religion has something like a meditation.
Yeah.
Evidently, it's really healthy to like sit with your thoughts and
Yeah.
just digest the world. Um, whereas, these neo religions, I think, don't necessarily lead you to a healthy life. It's maybe not their fault because they're so new and they haven't been able to do this long process of
Yeah. They get
what
you
is
to.
it, natural selection.
One thing they do is they get you to push your family away, which is not good, I would say. Um,
Yeah, I mean, it can be problematic for sure.
Yeah, they also
Yeah,
some of these
yeah.
religions get you to cut off your testicles, which is, I would say, a sign of mental distress. I don't think any human
See,
being.
but you're a white American. I'm sure I'm gonna guess statistically you had an operation when you were a baby.
Possibly, but
Yeah. Okay. And what's the origin of that? Thanks, Jews. I love the
yeah.
Jews, but I just mean, that's a religious tradition of cutting off the genitals of kids. So it's not like that's
Well, you
totally
don't cut
unheard of
off
or
the
insane.
genitals. The circumcision isn't cutting off genitals, but okay,
If it goes well,
I get
it can
what
go badly, and
I
then
get.
you're never. Neither of us are ever going to have sexual function the way we're really supposed to. We're never going to
All right.
have
Well, I don't want to defend
a lot
that
less than.
or get into that right now, but I don't know what I don't. I don't really have a strong opinion on that one. But I just, yeah. You're talking about death of religion. This is a new religion. I really think it is a new religion. I think that humans actually evolved. This is where you're gonna get real tricky. You talk about memes. I think one thing Dawkins may have been missing is that memes guided our evolutionary process, which maybe he wasn't missing that necessarily. We have like a meme part of our brain. We Man, we're gonna get into some deep stuff, but we have like a spot in our brain where God goes, I should say. And I think one
Mhm.
thing that is good about religious practices, like every Sunday, you get everybody in a room and we all sit there and basically meditate. Prayer and meditation are kind of like
Prayer, meditating.
what's the difference? And like the Muslim thing, praying 5 times a day, that's probably good. Just to meditate 5 times a day is going to make you probably a healthier person.
Yeah.
And then, religions also promote communities, and we all in the community meet in a building every
Yeah.
Sunday. It helps you check in with people. We need to You need to go face to face with people once in a while so they can be like, yo, take a shower, or whatever. Like if you're
Yeah.
starting to, like, you know what I mean? So, and then this new thing, we do have the death of God, we have the rise of atheism, and you can see that this section of our brain, like we still need something to give us meaning. And for a lot of people now, it's this political ideology. It's what I consider to be a political
Mhm.
ideology. It is, we need to achieve a future society that has perfect equity. We need equality of outcome, and that becomes, instead of whatever religious thing you would normally have, where I'm following God to whatever conclusion, I'm now following this political thing. I'm aiming for this direction, and I think, yeah, the transgender thing basically took that spot. It is a religious like instinct that we have to kind of do this
Right.
stuff, and it is unhealthy.
Maybe it's because I processed this some
Yeah,
time ago, but what's the
sure.
problem with that?
Well, I think people should be healthy. I mean, it's funny because, like, on one level, I have no problem. Like, it's like maybe a libertarian stance would be, yeah, do whatever the heck you want to do. If you want to cut your nuts off, I
Even
don't. That's
even
up to
beyond
you.
that, though, so I don't merely take a libertarian perspective on it, um, but I take an empathetic perspective. So I think maybe one liberal idea, some kind of, what is this, Rawls, the veil of ignorance,
Yeah.
I think that maybe that underlies to some degree this notion of this gender equality thing that frustrates you, but
Well, if
that like your soul before it met your body, what would you want for that soul?
if
What
I
if
if
I wasn't yet embodied,
yeah,
what would I want about the world so that my chances of coming into a body turn out
I
well?
I would, if I was a 20-year-old who was confused about gender, my own gender, I would want to be in a society that would tell me the truth about what is going on and not feed into my delusions with lies. So if I was a young girl, for example, if I was 14 years old, like many teenage girls, I'm have anxiety and I go, maybe I'm trans. I want a father or a mother or parents or whatever to say, you're not a boy. This is a phase. You're gonna get through it. Don't cut your tits off. Don't inject yourself with exogenous hormones. That's a bad. Like you're talking about. Like, yeah, I'm not trying to restrict anybody's rights. They can do that. I would never take away the right to do that. But I think it's a bad idea to fuck with your hormones. I think that if you're a male and you're 18 years old, There's like an expected range of testosterone that's within like a healthy range. And yeah, we live on a distribution. Everybody has a different body type and whatever. But we focus. If it's so funny because if you Google symptoms of low testosterone in men, if you just Google that, it'll come up with like fatigue, depression, lack of motivation. It's bad. Like it's negatives. Low testosterone is bad.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you add trans to it, suddenly it becomes gender affirming care. Now it's a good thing, right? Now it's a good thing. You have trans people who are 18, who are males, and they're intentionally lowering their testosterone by like 90 to 95%. And that's, I think I can say objectively, a bad thing. Like you're going to make yourself sad. You're going to be fatigued, depressed. And it's funny to me. It's a darkly comical. It's like very darkly comical. They talk about depression and they talk about how transphobia is weighing them down and they feel so sad. And all I can think in my head is maybe if you stop fucking with your hormones and, you would feel happier. You'd feel better about yourself if you got your hormones to where they should be. Should, right? Quote unquote should. What does that mean? And then you get into this whole debate. But yeah.
There is scientific evidence in favor of gender affirming care helping people. It's not everyone, and I don't disagree that there's some social component that's making more people trans than they would have been, and that there are people who could go either way, and then in a certain social environment they decide to become trans, and then maybe that isn't good if those people end up
I think it's tragic. Those people go down a tragic pathway. It's dark.
It can be. I mean, it can be. Yeah. Well, yeah. You don't want anyone who doesn't need it. So
exactly. Yeah. Okay.
So
that's
I'm of the mind that if you need it,
that's what we should focus on.
I've had long conversations with trans people, and I've talked about how the surgery freaks me out. Bottom surgery freaks me out. But if you needed it, it's hard for me to imagine needing that. And I wouldn't advise it, but if you needed that. But less than that, the evidence for that is less clear. There is quite a bit of evidence for the treatment of gender dysphoria with hormones.
I don't know about that. I don't know that there's that much evidence. I know that I've seen claims and I've seen some studies, but it's
complicated.
It is. It's ridiculously complicated.
If it would be a lot easier if there were no evidence. The fact that there is evidence, there is a population that is served. There's a population that's served by this. But there's a lot of social things that muddy the waters, that make it hard to study, that make it. Yeah, there's a lot of complications.
It's impossible to study this subject, I think. And also, we don't really have evidence because what's the earliest that somebody's been on cross-sex hormones? Like, when did that first happen? There might have been like one or two people back. I'm sure if we go back into the 1960s, there was like a first time when somebody started taking cross-sex hormones. It can't go back before the 1900s, right? Like
around the 1900s, early 1900s.
Do you think people were doing? You had young women injecting testosterone in the early 1900s, or vice versa? Males ingesting. I mean, first of all, we have to have the ability to create synthetic estrogen, which is like, I don't know what process that is, but that must be like a relatively modern thing.
Well, I'm not saying that the drugs are the exact same. Insulin of today is not the insulin that was discovered however long ago.
But the way, my prediction,
there is a medical history that goes back further than the 60s. I'm saying it's further than the 60s. The trans people all refer to like the Nazis destroyed all this trans research in Germany. Now, I don't know the specifics of any of that. Let me ask ChatGPT. What is the history of the use of cross-sex hormones?
They made a movie out of it. That one. You ever see The Danish Woman with Eddie Redmayne?
No.
That's that's the first transgender woman in that movie, apparently, and that was back in the early 1900s, something like that. I don't know, but they weren't doing cross-sex hormones.
The first transgender clinic was founded Institut für Sexualwissenschaft in 1919
by Magnus Hirschfeld, right? What a wonder.
And the advent of synthetic estrogens and early androgens in the 1920s.
Wow.
So 1920s.
Okay, well, I have a feeling that it's a bad idea for the vast, vast, vast majority of people. Um, and whether or not it's needed by some small percentage of people, maybe there's a small percentage of people that have this thing I mentioned earlier with the BNST, where their brain has a feminized part, and it would be better for them if they had the hormones that matched that part of their brain. Maybe that's true. What's not true is that most people today that are taking hormones have that part in their brain. I think if you scan their brain, you would find a perfectly normal, healthy brain, and they've basically been indoctrinated into this new
Yeah, the
religion.
brain stuff's really tough because also,
Yeah.
I mean, you scan a transgender brain, you find someone who's also been living as a woman. There's no way to really disambiguate how much of that is from living a lifestyle associated with
Well,
femininity and a sincere genetic disposition that if your brain was grown in a vat, it would have been a trans brain. Like it's all completely you can't disconnect it from society. Though
I
there
guess. I mean,
are
it's
young
such a tricky
there are
issue.
young children too who from a very young age can be very very insistent about their being the opposite
Yeah.
sex, even without that
With
idea really being like given to them from the outside, like without like super progressive trans parents who raise
yeah.
babies.
I mean, I believe
Yeah.
that. I have no doubt that that's always been a thing. Yeah, it's just it gets. Just to like bring it away from the science part because I don't think I basically like it's like a big I don't know on a lot of stuff. We don't know how brains
Yeah.
work or how we have identities
Yeah.
at all. So
Yeah.
I just think that
You
we
have a value judgment. You have a value judgment that's beyond just that. And my perspective is um
well if I can okay. I mean, what are
uh-huh.
you? I have a buddy
Yeah.
who is
Uh-huh.
trans, turned trans during COVID. He's a couple years younger than me, but he must have been 25 or something. It was during COVID. He comes out as trans. I don't think he should take the hormones. I don't think he should get the surgery. He's not one of these types that thought he was the opposite sex from a young age. He might be gay. He's probably gay. But
Mhm.
I think he basically spent a lot of time indoors during COVID. He was already kind of an indoor guy, and he just went a little nuts, and he got sucked into this religion, and he got
Mhm.
basically inducted into religion. I don't know what you call it, baptized in, and he came out as trans. And
Mhm.
I've been trying to tell him. I mean, we don't talk, but if I do see him again, I'll say the same thing I said to him last time, which is, don't do those hormones. Get your testosterone level to a healthy level, is what I would say.
What do you do? What do you do if a person takes the hormones and they perceive, this has been really helpful?
I just, I mean, I'm gonna have to just say I just don't believe you. I mean, I just don't
Okay.
believe you. Like, what does it mean to be happy? If I'm happy right now, right? This is where the psychology studies always get
We talk
tricky.
about doing something that harms you. You don't think like there's a lot of things we do that harm us physically that
Yeah,
a
like
lot of us have vices.
it would be right for him to say, "Hey, Matt, don't drink that many beers right now," right? Like that would be an equally fair thing for him to say of me. And I guess
You're not so upset about smokers,
no, because basically
and
my problem
smoking's probably a lot worse for you
the,
than cross-sex hormones.
I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but basically my problem is that I don't get
It's
kicked out
so
of
it's like certainly true. It's like very certainly true. Smoking's really
either
bad for all parts of your body and will kill you very like much earlier. Like
either.
cross-sex hormones aren't going to kill you.
Okay, either way, either way, I don't get kicked out of melee tournaments for telling people not to smoke. That's my problem is that I can have all sorts of value judgments about every single thing in the universe. I can say, hey, you shouldn't drive a Hummer because it's bad for the environment. Nobody's going to kick me out of a melee tournament, right? It's only when I say, hey, don't take cross-sex hormones because you're not actually a girl. Then I can't play melee anymore. And why is that? It's got nothing to do with trans people. It has to do with this it's a leftist ideology that wants a revolutionary change in society. And so it has to take control somehow. And one of the ways that it inflicts its control onto us is through bans. And this is why people are so afraid to talk about this stuff because they're afraid they're going to get banned by the same structure, just like Hacks was banned. Hacks correctly identified in his initial video, he called it a totalitarian state. He compared Melee literally to a communist totalitarian state or whatever. People got mad at him because he said it was like Hitler or whatever. I don't know. He put out a Hitler quote, but basically what he described was accurate. He told the truth. He said that Melee is controlled by this authoritarian, totalitarian ideology, and he blamed Leffen when, in my opinion, it's not Leffen's fault. He's just a creature of this system, but it's a system of ideas.
Um, I
So
think I think
yeah,
what Hacks would have been getting at more directly, and is probably bigger than the trans element in terms of the destruction it's wrought, would be social media. I mean, the use of social media.
yeah.
Um, I mean, that's I think a much bigger. That's much more the cause of the totalitarianism of the Smash community is that you can say a blog somewhere and one guy can find it, link it, and show it to everyone, and then you get put on a spreadsheet. Now you can't play anywhere in the country.
But the
But
motivation,
that's social media.
the social media is just the tool. The people wielding the tools are leftist ideologues.
The tool specifically promotes it though. It's like designed to outrage you, and get you to post something outrageous in 130 characters. Um, the tool really deeply promotes it. That was my conclusion of my performance art. Was that when I brought my sign to the tournament,
Yeah,
um, everyone who interacted with it in person thought it was really cool. Everyone was extremely encouraging. There was a moment when I played on stream. I played against Bimbo Mexico, and then I show my sign, and Bimbo was like, "Oh, is that unbanned hacks on your sign?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, that's cool." And we play our set, and then my friend texts me and says like they were really mad on commentary. I'm like, "What do you mean mad on commentary?" I go and I look at it, and it's like Fendrick Lamar is like fuming mad about the sign on stream and saying someone needs to get this off stream. Like, I don't want to commentate this. I don't want to
yeah,
be here for this. And the whole chat was spamming about, all this or that, mean, rude things. Um, and so it was very striking that the only node in which this act interacted with the internet was also the only node in which there was anything but positivity for what was a transgressive protest that had some risk of, getting me banned. Um,
yeah. I mean, you kind of nailed
but
it.
my conclusion was that there are two Smash communities. There's an in-person Smash
Yeah,
community and there's an online Smash community, and it's very confusing because it's the same people in both, and someone
yeah,
who's cool in real life will become a psychopath on the internet.
yeah, yeah.
It's very confusing. Um,
It's crazy. It
yeah,
is.
I mean, I don't think it's a whole leftist like leftism is certainly a big part of it, but I think it's more like there's constituencies. Like to acquire power in the community, there's like several different constituencies that have influence.
But
So there's
I can't. The
so
leftists
the
can.
trans constituency is a large constituency, and a lot stronger than the leftist portion of it. I think even now also I think like
It's the same thing.
the
There's no difference. The leftists are the trans, and the trans are the leftists. There's not.
I
I'm
don't
not.
see like leftist like advocacy.
It's what no trans advocacy is leftist advocacy is what I'm saying.
Um,
That's a left. It's not. It's got nothing to do with liberalism at all. So
okay, I guess what I'm saying is like there was a time when there was this mixture of like all cops are bastards and like trans rights, and now it's like just trans rights.
yeah, but look at like if we look at this ice thing that just happened, right, which is unrelated to the trans thing, the melee community,
Are you
I
sure
would
you want to talk about this?
well, I would just I can without even knowing anything about it, I can just predict the opinions of every Smash leader that we have. Like I already know what they're all going to say. They're going to take the leftist position. Like there's not, and they're all the same people. Also have pronouns in their bios. So I don't see a difference between these people. Like they're the same exact people. So and they're pushing the same
Um,
ideology. Like BLM is the trans ideology. It's the same one and the same. That's how I see it. So
I think it's more complicated. I think like power is held by competing constituencies. So like Trump got elected
yeah,
off the backs of like a quite a diverse constituency. Um, so it's
Sure.
not like you can like pin down a Trump voter on everything they believe, or even most people. You really can't pin them down like you're going to believe everything they do. But if you take a sample of 100 people that all post an opinion, how do I say this? In aggregate, it's going to be one big ideological mob. But in a quiet room alone, people are going to be a lot more diverse in what they think.
Yeah. So I guess it gets back to this
They're going to
online.
have conflicting views. The what is it? The God, am I forgetting his name? The fucking mayor, the socialist mayor of New York,
Yeah, oh, Zoran,
Zoran,
yeah,
Zoran
Mondami.
Mamdani.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, the Mamdani Trump voters.
Is that a thing?
It's a thing.
Is that
It's a thing. Yeah,
okay?
it's a thing because Mamdani got like 50.1% of the vote, and then uh, uh, yeah. There's a segment of, and in some ways it's not that surprising because there was this huge swing of young men towards Trump. New York had a
Yeah,
big swing towards Trump compared to 2020 or 2016, and also Zoran is hugely popular among young men. Also, they're both like populist, so
yeah,
it's not
yeah,
not that weird. But yeah, I don't know. I agree. I agree that there's this that there's a okay, you're right. You can break this down into like I think you're describing a lens. We can look at it through the lens of leftist ideology, but there's a lot of different lenses you can use. So like in feminism, you know, the world being patriarchy, that's a lens you can use to analyze the world. And there's a lot of things that you can answer and predict using that lens. It's
yeah.
not always the best lens, but it is a fruitful lens. And also, you can create an entire ideology around it for sure.
Oh
You can
yeah.
spend your entire life like under like a feminist patriarchal you down with the patriarchy lens. Um, but I think the reality is a bit more complicated. I think that the trans stuff is uniquely divisive among the leftist beliefs, in large part because um, so many players are trans. I mean, what do you? Okay, so
Yeah.
I think we're kind of in agreement that this thing is like kind of religion. You're like really ass mad about it, and
Well,
you've also been like trashed a lot more over it. Like you've had their powers been used on you over it. So
yeah,
fair enough. But I think like we're kind of in agreement. This is like a religion, and from my perspective, I'm like, well, yeah, there's Jews, there's Christians, there's trans people, and also I also agree that it's not just trans people. Not all trans people have or take part in the queer ideology, and not most of the people who take part in the ideology also aren't trans. Because trans aren't
yes,
that. It's kind of like how most Christians aren't priests.
yeah, yeah. And
And I
most,
think there's a lot about the transness that has a lot in common with Christianity. The whole idea of being born again
and I just want to
is
throw
a
one
huge.
want to throw one thing in there.
Um,
Most of the people that have given me shit that have been a problem to me
yeah, they're trans.
are not trans.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
just speaking on behalf of trans, like the
yeah,
hypothetical
yeah, yeah,
trans, right? That's it's mostly
yeah,
white. It's
yeah,
mostly white guys.
yeah,
I mean, if
yeah,
I'm being racist about it or whatever, but like,
yeah,
it's always a straight white guy. It's like, well, I'm here to protect trans people from you, Matt. And it's like, what the fuck are you? What made you the king, the spokesperson? So, but
okay, so
yeah,
yeah, I don't. Okay, so given all that,
yeah.
um, what? Okay, so there's a few. Okay, if your goal is, so you have a political goal to change the community.
Um, it's funny because they'll say being trans isn't political, and then I'll sit here and say removing trans from controlling the scene isn't political. Like in my view, I would say I would rather make the melee scene not political.
So,
Yeah.
so I'm going to be more broad. When I say political, I just mean changing the levers of power. Like
Yes.
power is
I,
politics.
I would like to change the way the melee scene is run. Yes. That would be nice.
So,
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
um, so I think that involves. So if you exit, you can't.
Yeah. which I haven't done.
So
I haven't exited. I go to events. I've been playing constantly. I still play a lot. I literally can't go to events here. Like today's Thursday. There's one literally that I was going. It's one happening tonight that I would love to go to, but I can't go to.
right.
So
So
I can tell you what my plan is. I have a plan.
tell me your plan. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to end up with a very different perspective on how you should do politics to change this. I don't think
Well,
any of you guys have like really. Well,
I
okay, go ahead. Go ahead. You tell me your plan, and then I'll tell you what I think you should do
You
if you really want to
mentioned
change things.
that there's a lot of transgender melee players, and that's true. 9% of the top 100 in 2024. I haven't checked this year yet. 9 out of 100 are transgender identified people, which is like astronomically higher than.
That's trans women, right? She,
Yes,
her.
yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Specifically,
then they,
she.
them. You're gonna get
There's like three
is
of
like
those in that
not.
list.
Oh, only three.
It was something like that.
Yeah, I counted them.
I counted it. It's a lot of like he them. I didn't count those or whatever. There's a couple they thems, but there's 9 she hers. These are all
Yeah.
males, right? There's no women in the top 100. It's all men. But it's trans women.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
and you're
Yeah.
gonna tell me that that's
Uh,
offensive, but I don't want to get into that right now. All I'm trying to say is there is a very high percentage of trans people in the community, which everybody will be quick to point out. And I think part of the reason for that, there's a lot of reasons. One, Melee tends to attract the type of people that would transition. We already talked about that. It's virtual. It's like autistic, right? People that are like virtual and autistic are more likely to trans. The other thing is though, is that it's been pushing so many people away. It's become such a safe space for trans people that it's not only pushing away non-trans people and like right wingers and whatever, or people that just aren't into that stuff. It's also inviting more trans people in. It's become like a vortex, right? Like the scene is
people
like,
people
yeah,
know that it's trans friendly. People who are trans
yes.
will join to be a
So
part of the legendary trans polycules at the
yeah,
Hilton.
yeah, it's wild. But my goal, and like this is something I'd like to make clear to any transgender people that are listening to this right now. I'm gonna run events and will never ever kick out a transgender player ever. I genuinely want transgender people to come play Melee at any event that I do. And people on these alt scene servers make fun of me. They're like, Matt wants to play with all the trannies, right? And it's like, okay, yes, I do. Like genuinely, I want everybody to show up and play. So my goal, I have a 2-part plan here. One, I'm going to start an online event, which I was hoping to start last week. I'm trying to get, basically I want to start an online event and it will be no bans. That's the philosophy. Nobody's banned from the server or from the bracket no matter what. So you can be the most trans communist person on planet Earth who hates me. You can say anything you want about me. I could even hate you and I will still not ban you from the event. So that's an online event. That's one thing.
Can I take out the Christians in your server and spam them with AI porn of
Sure.
Jesus having gay sex? And you
Yeah.
wouldn't have an issue with that.
No, they might. I mean,
Okay.
so
Okay.
you're allowed to come on the server and post literally anything you want. If you post something illegal, I'm going to call the cops on you. And this gets to the next thing. I'm going to start an IRL event. I have to find a venue in California that I can trust enough because I already did this once. I started an event that they got canceled on me. I ran one weekly back in April. It went very well. I was about to run the second one, and these trans activists called them up and got them to cancel it by saying, didn't you know that there's Nazis playing Melee, right? So my goal in the end here somehow is to run an event
Find a church that'll let you.
Yeah, it's not going to be at a church. It can't be a church. It's got to be just. I would rather have it be a public, a place that's like an establishment that serves food and beer and like you know what I mean, like a brewery or whatever. But
yeah, okay.
But I'm going to run an event. I'm going to do a good job at it, and everybody will be allowed. The rule will be there's no bans, no matter who you are and what you've done. And I know that brings up like 700 million arguments. I've heard every single one. What about the pedophiles? What about the people who have done this, and this? What about the people that have said all this? So my goal here is to run an event with no bans to demonstrate that I'm not saying that no bans is the final goal. All I'm doing is saying that no bans is better than
We're so far from
Yeah.
reasonableness that no bans is better than
Yeah.
what we have. Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
no rules is better than the current rule set. Is kind of what I'm saying. And it's not even that there's no rules. You can't show up to the event and punch somebody because that's illegal. I'm still gonna call the police on people. If you show up and try to rape or groom or do whatever the heck people think that is gonna happen at a melee event, I'm gonna identify
Mhm.
it and I'm going to contact the state authorities who will show up and deal with you. That's not a ban in my book. That's just you getting arrested. And if you're in jail, you can't attend the event. Darn it. So and then, so what my goal would be is to start this event and run it for as long as I can run it, maybe a year, maybe 2 years. I don't know, for however long it goes, just to show the Melee community that we never needed bans. And the reason that I'm so focused on bans is because I think that this is a political ideology that maintains control with bans. That's, and this is the same thing Hacks identified. It's, and it is online, like you were saying, it is mostly like back when Melee was like IRL mostly, this wasn't happening. I think people were more human to each other. Like like there wasn't this like vitriol, this toxicity. And I think that if we can create a culture, if we can create a culture, the way that I see it is like there's like a social meta game. In the current meta, since bans are a tool I can wield, if I don't like you, or if I'm in some sort of power game where I think that I should run this thing and you shouldn't, it's in my best interest to get you banned. So I'm going to try and make a story go viral about you, or I'm going to figure out what transphobic thing you said or racist thing you said and get you banned. And it's created this ratcheting effect in the scene, this incentive structure, where since it is a leftist system of ideas that controls it, we're ratcheting more and more leftist. And so they just keep kicking out right wing people. So all that I'm saying here in the end here is that I'm going to try and run a thing that encompasses everybody, invites literally everybody. You can be a communist and show up. And I like my goal is to be genuinely welcoming to everybody and just show that we can
Mhm.
like I guess that's what I'm saying. It's like, and hopefully that can set an example that I know that I'm like
I see.
maybe I'm have delusions of grandeur, but I hope that it could change the scene. I mean, that would be
Mhm.
the
I
dream,
think
the dream goal.
so. I think the biggest thing you'd run into, I think running your own tournament's cool.
Yeah,
Um, I think there's no changing the scene that doesn't involve um, actual organizing.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it is true when there's all these people that criticize the scene. Um, well, where are you on commentary? Where are you running your locals? Who are you helping out at your locals? Um,
Yeah.
Now, yeah, some of them have lost the ability to do that. Um, or yeah, weren't necessarily given. I mean, Hacks as an example, though. I mean, he wasn't banned from everything. He was banned from the most important things, and it's totally unjust and all that. But he wasn't actually banned from everything. Um, um,
Yeah, the
I guess I think that the bar to change is very high. The bar to change is very high. Like the bar on your behavior is very high.
yes,
Um,
that's gonna be the
okay,
hard.
I think one of the biggest problems is like making an alternative scene. I think is problematic. I think like you might be in a tough spot because like you're not in the normal scene, so you can't actually like join the normal scene. So you're having to start from the outside and hopefully get your way back in. But I don't think you can run your like IRL like semi mana monthly um
It's gonna be no. I predict
and
that.
change the regular community. Like you might be able to grow an alt community in doing this,
No,
but I think
well, here's
it
me.
will be challenging.
Here's me being cocky. I think I can run a better event than anybody else in SoCal. I've been to all of their events. I've seen how they're run. I even before I was politically motivated, I would walk into venues all the time and say, "This isn't how I would do it," right? And I did run an event in LA, and it grew to be the biggest event of every single week, and we had top players showing up. And so all I'm gonna do is run a solid event that's well run, and people will show up. It's not an alt
Yeah,
scene.
I
It's
have
not an alt
no
scene
doubt
tournament.
that
Yeah.
you can start a tournament. I have no doubt that you can start a tournament.
Yeah.
If your goal is to create a local community that you're allowed to play in,
Yeah.
uh, then I totally think that you could do it.
No, I think it's
If your
gonna.
goal is to change the regular community, I think that you need to be in the regular community. I think you need to find a way to be in the regular community.
Well, they gotta let me in. I don't know what to say. I'm never ever.
Well, I
I'm.
don't agree. Okay, so yeah, we've been kind of talking around this, but I think a lot of players who have been banned, as unfair as it is, and I'm totally in agreement that it's unfair, um, don't do everything they could to get unbanned.
No,
I think I
well,
remember one of the first conversations I
yeah,
had in that in
yeah.
DMA. Maybe this was with you. Wait, maybe this was with you
It might have been.
because they were banned in SoCal. Wait, no. Yes. Okay. I'm going to continue the argument I had with you a
All
year
right,
ago.
all right, all right.
I remember I said that you should make a trans friend
Check
in the
this out.
community,
I'm
and
glad.
you exploded on me. You were like, "That's so ridiculous. That's so stupid." That
I
was you, right?
Let me show you exactly what was said. I screenshotted this, and I.
Yeah, yeah. Let's discuss that.
This is you. Do you see that? I think you can see it on my screen
No,
here.
no, no, no.
Oh, you
I
can't?
see infinite. I see infinite regress.
Oh shoot! Why is that not showing up? Sorry, chat. Oh, I gotta do entire screen. Share screen here. Boom. The unable table. I have so yeah, this is the only thing that I had to talk to you about
This
from the
is
beginning.
exactly what I've been trying to get at. This is exactly what I was beating around the bush and trying to say. I didn't remember that this was you. Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
I think
said
that's completely true.
it is true. It is true. I don't think you're lying. I think that this is a true statement. If you have a bunch of trans friends vouch for you, it is a difference maker. And that is, if in SoCal I had a bunch of trans people vouch for me, I would be let back in. That's a fact. And the problem is is that that's not how the scene should be. It is that thing that I'm protesting against. That fact should not be true. It
Okay,
shouldn't.
if your goal is to immolate yourself
Yeah.
in service of a statement, you're free to do so, but you're greatly diminishing your ability to actually do politics and make change.
I'm never ever going to say that a trans woman is a woman. Until I'm convinced. I need to be convinced of
Okay.
that being true. Until I am
Okay,
convinced that a trans woman is a woman, I'm not going to say it. I won't
then don't
lie.
say it.
Yeah.
So there's our axiom, okay? We're going to
Okay.
start from there. You're not going to say it.
Sure.
And there you have to craft a way to still be in the melee community.
Yeah, and I'm
But
I'm gonna
in
run an
your
event.
mind,
Yeah.
that makes it impossible. No, no, no. Okay. I respect running the event, but my point is
Yeah.
that when you run your alternate event where you're basically saying, I'm never going to be allowed in the regular community, here's my protest event, and I'm going to do it really well, and we're going to grow. And I mean, I think that's cool and good. And I think regardless of anything I'm going to say, I think the idea of running an event is a good one.
Sure.
Um, I think that all plays into the stuff that I'm talking about. In fact, I
Yeah.
think it is good to do that. But you have it in your mind that you don't belong in the community. You
No.
have it in your mind that they.
Yeah, in my mind, if I allow the system of ideas that currently controls Melee to run the country, like the way that it wants to, what I see is a Marxist revolution that managed to take over the Melee scene. And if it takes over the country, we will all suffer the same fate that Hacks suffers. I think that it's hell on earth if these people win. Like however Hacks felt near the end is how
So
we will
then
all
it sounds
feel.
like you should do whatever it takes to win.
I'm gonna run my own event. Yeah, so that's what
Well,
it
that's not
takes.
whatever it takes. I think that's one point.
Sure.
So, okay, because my argument is that if you are within the community, you are a part of the community, your ability to make change is vastly greater.
No,
And so I'm saying you should.
because Hbox and Cody and Mango and Zane are all in the scene, and they made no difference to Hacks. So being in the scene, I think traps your freedom. Everybody that's in the scene can't say what they believe. Because if people got what they wanted, Hacks would still be alive. That's
Yeah, so there was a huge political failure with hacks. I mean,
yeah.
it's a bizarre situation because it's like no one wanted that outcome. And I quit over that. But
So this is exactly the
but
thing.
no.
This is what you got at the beginning when I mentioned that there's people that raise children like as babies with no gender, right? And then you
uh,
go, there's nobody that actually believes this thing. But then it turns out that the system of ideas actually controls things. So if you go to the top 100 or all the leaders in the community and you say, do you actually believe hacks should be banned? 99.9% of them would say no. And yet the system of ideas, like the egregore that controls all of us,
uh,
actually made that decision. There's no individual that actually believes the thing, but that belief still propagates forward. And it's the same thing with the trans women or women thing. I don't think anybody actually believes that a trans woman is a woman. I think that there's like a system of ideas that just forces this behavior. And we can. I kind of got off. I didn't mean
yeah,
to interrupt what
I
you're saying
understand
there.
what you're getting at.
Sure.
No, I
Yeah.
understand what you're getting at.
I can't do this from within
Yes,
the scene because what
and
I would have to do is basically stop saying what I believe to be true, and I'd have to reduce my freedom. I'd have to restrict myself. And if I restrict my speech, I can't make the change I need to make. Because what I need to say is it does not matter if somebody you're playing Melee with doesn't believe that you're a woman. It doesn't misgendering you is not a reason for you to kick them out of the scene. If somebody misgenders you, grow the fuck up. That's what needs to be said. And if I say that, I get
okay,
kicked out.
uh, you aren't in this conversation. You're
Yeah.
not kicked out. They said get out, and you said fucking fine. I hate you people anyways, and you storm out. Because every time I suggest that it that it would be possible for you to have your beliefs and maintain in the community, you emotionally shut down. You're like, it is impossible.
Well,
But you don't
because
know that it's
I
impossible.
would go
It
to
is not impossible.
I would go to an event tonight. I don't know what you mean, honestly. Like I
Honestly,
genuinely
it's so easy.
no, but like
But you won't even entertain. I can't get anyone in this conversation because you won't even entertain for a moment that it's possible for you to reintegrate into the scene. You won't entertain that for even a moment.
not while people aren't allowed to say things that are true. No, I can't. So, including myself. I literally would have to take down YouTube videos I've put up, right? Like I'd have to take down a tweet. I would have to apologize for something that I don't think I should apologize. I would have to lie. That's my problem.
I don't know exactly what you would have to do. Did you know there's
I know what I
you
could do.
are um
If I made a video right
no,
now,
I can't even get a few words in before you start giving all these
okay,
reasons for
okay,
why it's impossible.
okay, sure. I can tell me what I'm doing wrong
So
here.
okay,
Yeah.
it might be the best first step is to run a tournament. So I'm in agreement on that. But I'm trying to help your attitude a little to improve your political efficacy
That's where I get.
from
That's
my
where.
perspective.
So this goes all the way back to the thing
Okay.
we said at the beginning. I am going to cut you off. I have to cut you off. This
You
gets.
don't even know what I'm going to say.
Well, this gets to yeah, because you talk about attitude, and we talked about Zion at the beginning and how he harasses people. But
Oh, okay.
in my opinion, the melee scene should allow people that are assholes into the scene. Somebody with a bad attitude shouldn't be banned. Somebody that everybody in the scene hates should not be banned. It's better for the melee scene if we allow the assholes in. We need the Conor McGregors. We need the storylines that involve the transphobes and like imagine the hype, the
But to
money.
make the person who makes that argument
Yeah.
can't be any of those things. They have to be perfect.
so so okay,
I
what
mean,
is
you have to be so like you're saying like no, I don't need to improve my behavior because I'm going to prove to everyone that anything should be allowed. And I don't think that this is the best route. I think there's a lot that you can do that is within the bounds of being true to yourself while also what so um the reason that you're banned is something like the okay, I'm gonna change the way I phrase that sentence. I don't want to say you're banned because of this or that, but um um you have to get the trust of the people in the regular community. I totally agree that running a tournament and showing that you can run a competent tournament and get people to come in, that's a wonderful way to build trust with community members. But my point with the making a trans friend thing is that um, fundamentally the TOs don't want, they're fucking lazy and they are uneducated and they are ruthless capitalists with very thin profit margins. And so it doesn't take very much pushing for them to make a judgment call to make their life easier. Fundamentally, their life is easier when you're not there than when you are there. Reason being, when you're not there, they don't get an angry DM from some trans person who does have a bunch of trans friends about your presence there. Um, and so, yes, you can run a tournament and show like we don't need all these bands. Um, and I think the other side of that would be to demonstrate to all these people, you can spend time with me, you can have me at your events, and I'm not going to make life harder for you.
Did I not do that already?
Um,
I
I
mean,
think politics is a time-consuming endeavor. So I think what happened with you, I get the impression is this has happened with a lot of band players, is they like cycle between um, kind of giving in and then resenting what they've done and lashing out. Um,
can I tell you what happened? Because I think it's a unique case. I think my case is unique in a lot of ways. I don't want to sound
okay,
narcissistic, but I kind of
okay,
intentionally got banned. Like a lot of people, it's by accident. Melee wasn't such a gigantic part of my life that I couldn't sacrifice it, so I was willing to sacrifice it. Unlike hacks, for example. But yeah, in the beginning of 2024, I went to that event and I did like 2 weeks. Somebody, it's funny you mentioned the internet thing. Somebody, the only time it became an issue is when I appeared on stream. Then suddenly it became an issue. The TO got
someone
a,
in the chat saw you.
yeah, and then the TO got a message from
So it was,
somebody.
it was probably someone who wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I figured out who it was later, but that's not important. So the next week I showed up. TO taps me on the shoulder while I'm sitting there playing friendlies before the event. He goes, "Can I talk to you outside?" And he says, "You're banned?" Like he was like confused, right? He goes, like, "You shouldn't be here." And it turned into this weird, an indescribable social situation where I'm standing face to face with this guy and he doesn't know what to do because like he doesn't know who I am, he doesn't know my story, he's getting these messages. So we had this weird thing where I showed up every week and I would just stand outside and I ended up talking to Salami, a SoCal
Oh,
player,
okay.
and
No, I know someone.
we came to this very strange agreement where it wasn't necessarily an agreement, but I was firm where I said, I'm not going to say the thing you want me to say. They said, will you apologize? I said, no. They said, will you apologize if you hurt somebody's feelings? And I said, if somebody gets to me face to face and I genuinely feel I must apologize, I will. But I didn't comply with their demands and they still allowed me to play under probation. And then I was kicked out for violating that probation when I said trans women are not women on a YouTube video. But my point here is that you're talking about building trust and demonstrating a pattern of behavior that people can trust. So I attended that event every single week, like almost every Thursday, with like very few exceptions. And I mean, I have Start GG results to prove this. That I sat in a room peacefully with trans-identified people. I did this already. It doesn't matter. There is nothing I can do short of lying that will gain trust with these people because it's not really about safety. It's not really about, like you mentioned, the TOs are just in this guy who was running this event was in a crazy position. We had so many conversations that are so hard for me to even describe because he's sitting there and he doesn't strike me as a politically motivated person. He didn't want to get into the politics of it, but he didn't want to get harassed by political activists. So he just decided it would be easier to ban me. And I think that it sounds insane, but I'm not the one who needs to build trust. I think the scene needs to change. I don't need to change. The entire scene
You
needs to
can't
change.
change the scene.
I'm going to change the scene. That's the thing. I'm going to. I'm going to run an event under a new philosophy, and when people give me shit and say, you need to ban this person, I'll say, it's my event.
What's that? I guess my point is,
Yeah.
that's not changing the scene. That's running an alternative scene.
No, because what's going to happen is I'll run it for as long as I can, assuming that there's no catastrophic event that occurs or that I don't die or something. I'm going to run it every week. And it's going to demonstrate to everybody objectively that you can run an event under a new philosophy and nobody's going to get hurt. Trans people are going to be fine. Hopefully trans people show up. They're always invited. And the thing that I think that people are missing here is you're talking about TOs being capitalist. You're talking about people like, I think about people like HBox. He wants to make money. Cody's constantly complaining about how he doesn't make money. The scene is losing viewers. We lost sponsors. We lost viewers. We had the Smash World Tour thing that was supposed to happen. Yeah. Like, we were clearly on like an up and up from like 2015 to 2020. I think that there was like a hype wave and Melee was on the rise. And the way that I see it is the reason that the hype ended, it's partially just a consequence of social media toxicity, but it's really because this thing that doesn't care about Melee fundamentally, the system of ideas, took over. What controls the scene, the system of ideas, doesn't care about Melee. It just doesn't care. It cares about a political agenda. And we're all trapped by it. Everybody that's in the scene is trapped by it. Cody's trapped by it. HBox is trapped by it. HBox, I think, had a moment where he put his head above the water, where he wanted to be a human being and actually like do something about Melee, and he got sucked back down by it. And in my opinion, it would be in HBox's and Mango's and Cody's and everybody in the whole scene's best interest to just cut bans off entirely and take away political power from the leftist, transgender, whatever you want to call it. Everybody would make more money if we allowed, like, as dumb as it sounds, everybody would make more money if we allowed hate speech. I know that sounds crazy. You'd be like, what about the sponsors? They're going to go away. No, if we say fuck you to the sponsors who are like, we're not going to sponsor you if you don't put pronouns in your bio or whatever. If you say fuck you to those sponsors, the scene will grow in the long term, because what we'll do is actually create that exciting, fun energy again. We'll get the Khabib versus McGregor fights going. We'll get Zion versus Cody, which is going to be the biggest set in the history of Melee. Like, we could have had Hacks versus Leffen. That would have been an international success of a thing, and people would make real money off of that. So this thing that everybody's doing where they're sacrificing, basically HBox is sacrificing.
I don't disagree it's short term. I don't disagree that it's short term thinking.
Exactly. And so I can't change it from within the scene. If I keep my head down and
None of that means you can't change it from within the scene. None of what you said implies that you can't change it from within the scene. You're totally fatalistic about it.
Yeah, it's funny because because I can visualize how I could get back. I can visualize how I could get back into the scene. I know what I could do. I know which people that I could go to. I know what words I would have to say on Twitter and on YouTube. I could make a video of contrition where I apologize and I say that my worldview has changed and that I now say this, and this. I now understand the struggles. Like,
okay,
you know what I mean?
I'm going to stop you there.
Sure.
Let's not say that your worldview changes. Your fundamental worldview changes.
Okay.
So I'm not telling you to proclaim trans women or women. Okay. There is room. Okay, are you religious at all?
Can I skip that question?
Why?
Because I don't want to answer that question. So.
Oh, I guess.
I'll say.
Sorry, it's jarring and surprising.
I'll say God is real.
Okay.
Does that answer it?
Is it okay for me to ask why it's a tough thing to talk about? Are you afraid of like getting?
No, I just don't know what being religious means. I just think that it's the same thing with trans women or women. I don't think that anybody thinks a trans woman is a woman. So, and they're going to tell me that.
Were you raised religious?
I think I had a pretty similar upbringing to most people in this country, where
I was raised atheist. Like my dad told me when I was
Okay.
5 that like when you die, nothing happens,
Yeah, I was an
which is
atheist.
unusual.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I was an atheist for a very long time. I would have called myself an atheist. What
Oh,
I would say now, I mean, if we want to get into it, I would just say I was lying. Did I know I was lying? No. Um, and then we have to talk about what lies mean, but
okay.
it's a tricky question, isn't it?
Okay, so you're something like religious or spiritual, but you're not necessarily like a born again Christian.
I wouldn't describe myself as religious or spiritual. No.
Oh,
In
okay.
fact, I've been
Okay, okay.
described as the opposite of spiritual. So,
Okay. Okay. You're
materialist.
secular.
I'm a materialist, a dirty
Okay.
materialist. It all exists in this
Okay.
world.
Okay. 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 Okay.
But no, God is real. I That's true. Uh, so if that makes me not a
Um,
if that makes
okay,
me
okay.
not a
So
materialist,
so then nothing related to the trans beliefs are don't necessarily come from a religious conviction.
no, I would say they come from a scientific conviction more than anything. I've been a Darwin head. I was like the evolution guy
Okay.
for the longest time. That's why I studied
Okay.
genetics in college because I thought DNA was like the most interesting. I still think it's the most interesting thing in the universe, pretty much. So I've been very much
Yeah,
into
there's a
evolution.
strong argument that it may be.
Yeah. So yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
maybe, yeah. But uh, so
uh,
what is your total aversion to um I don't want to say like optics, but to framing your beliefs in like a palatable way. You seem like completely averse to this.
because it comes down to lies. It's polite lies. Then yeah, I could say okay, you're a woman.
What have I lied about?
Well, if you think a trans woman's a
What do you think?
woman, I think it's a lie. I just think if you like,
Have I said that?
no, no.
Do I
So
think that?
I don't know. I don't know actually. So yeah, maybe you haven't lied at all. I haven't caught you on anything that stands out to me. So yeah,
Um,
I've been kind of surprised by this whole conversation, honestly. So I was expecting
okay.
more of a battle, but yeah. So
um,
yeah,
okay. So for myself with trans stuff, like okay, I'm not like if I'm saying that it's a religion, like I'm not a participant in the religion.
yeah. That's yeah.
And then I'm talking to you, a fellow atheist. Like
I'm
I'm like an atheist,
not,
and so a lot of this,
I'm
and
not
so
an
like,
atheist. I don't think I would call
oh,
myself an
okay, sorry,
atheist.
okay, okay,
I
materialist,
I used to identify
yeah,
as such, but I
yeah, okay,
don't
okay, but you're a
anymore.
materialist or whatever. You're scientific,
Uh, Even that's gonna get
scientifically
me in
minded.
trouble. All these words are so tricky,
Okay,
right? So
okay.
so
Um, oh, do you believe in a soul?
ooh, do I believe in a soul?
So, like, one of my biggest departures from being able to be really like a believer in like a the
Yeah.
in queer trans ideology is that I
Yeah.
don't believe in souls. I'm like a tried and true materialist, and the concept of gender is very it's like a soul. It's like a soul thing. But
Yeah.
I mean I think also that there's like a narrative reality that you can partake in. So when someone says like I pray for your soul, I think there can be a lot that that actually means, and I think that soul people like I think you can live a life under that lens and it's totally consistent. I think you can live your life under a gender soul lens and it's totally consistent. I don't have some aversion to it. Um,
Damn, this is a deep
okay,
conversation. Yeah.
okay, so I don't think that our beliefs on gender are that different. But
Okay.
so my point is that I'm able to talk about this in a way where trans people don't feel threatened by me, don't feel worried about me. I can if trans people advocate
Okay.
for me.
I
I
think
can get along with them very easily. I have friends that are trans, and I respect the worldview, but it's not my worldview. But I do truly, genuinely respect it or whatever. So,
I
but somehow you and I have something like very similar material
sure.
beliefs,
Yeah.
but um, but
I'm trying.
you're averse to finding a way to package. your genuinely held beliefs in a way that allows you to be trusted and
Yeah, because there is one difference between us, that I think it's a Marxist revolution occurring. I think we're basically witnessing the same pattern of behavior that we saw in Russia in 1918 or whatever, and in China in the 1960s. I think that that's happening in the U.S. and it has taken on
okay.
new vocabulary, and that vocabulary has gender and such identities and things like that.
So like I feel like if I were taken back to
Yeah,
um so I'm not how do I say this? I'm not partisan.
sure.
I have my beliefs. I'm like a liberal. I vote for Democrats. Big Joe Biden fan.
Yeah.
Um, but like, why do you care if they're a part of some?
So I didn't really care. I mean, back in 2019 when I was running this event, I was a lot more maybe palatable to these people. But then, it's became a problem in my life during COVID. I really don't know. I hate to just say like it's COVID's fault, but yeah, COVID radicalized me when I realized that
Okay.
I think that our behavioral response during COVID was almost 100% irrational. I think the majority of behavior during COVID was just not rational. It was like a stampeding herd of animals.
Mhm.
One of the common themes during COVID, the people that were causing the problem, in my opinion, we were the same people that waved these flags. The trans pride flag, for example, are the same people that were causing the irrational behavior during COVID. I'm not saying that I love Trump or that I love right wing people or whatever. They weren't the problem during
Wait,
COVID.
do you really think that like people were causing the irrational behavior in COVID? I mean, it was a pandemic. I feel like
Yeah, there was a virus.
yeah.
Yes, I
Um
think our response
I
to
mean,
the virus was worse than the virus could have ever done. So
sure. Yeah, it's like an autoimmune disease or whatever.
yes,
Um
it's exactly like that. And so just to connect it to the trans thing, basically the problem was is people were afraid to say the truth. Because if you said the truth during COVID, you would lose your career. In many cases, that was true. People would come out and say, hey, the 6 foot social distancing thing, what are we doing? This lockdown's for these types of people. What are we doing? If you're 20 years old and you're healthy, what the hell are you locking down for? And if you say that, you lose your job. And depending on where you work, it's not, always the case, but it's the same thing where there's a system of ideas that controls us, and the reason that system of ideas holds power is because people are afraid to say what they think. So what I'm kind of doing here is just being so blunt. I'm just saying, like, I would rather die saying this today than allow that this is like me doing my part for society. Like, it's if there was like if there was 10 more of me in Melee, I think Melee, like, I don't know what the number would be, right? There's a line in the Bible about this, that there's some percentage of people in a society that if they tell the truth, that society can be saved. And if there aren't enough of those people, the society is beyond saving, and you're going to get Sodom and Gomorrah or whatever. God's going to blow up
mm,
your city, right?
oh, right, right. Find me 50 good men. Find me 10. I can't. What if I find you 10?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that that's basically, we just have people who they pull an H box, and instead of doing the right thing, they keep their head down and they go along with the lie, and we all suffer for it. And the solution to that is to speak the truth bluntly, is to be an asshole. Unfortunately, I don't know a way of doing it without being an asshole, because I could be nice and palatable, but at some point I'm gonna have to have a disagreement with somebody. And it sounds kind of crazy, but like, if we're talking about like
But yeah,
relation,
you have disagreements with people,
but it's
but you're framing a disagreement as if it's going to inevitably cause a total breakdown in trust that's inevitable between you and the other person.
yeah, our worldviews are so different that I think it's almost like if you're in a relationship with somebody, there's a conversation that you have to have sometimes that will involve tears. Somebody's going to cry. And that is a healthy thing in some cases. And I think in this case, the melee scene needs to cry about something. And like they need like a father figure to come home and be like, "Yo, you're not a girl. Stop it. Stop it. Grow up. Cry about it if you want. You're not a girl, right? Go and cry. Fine. But you're gonna come back to the table and you're gonna sit down and you're gonna eat dinner. All right? Like, and that's and it makes you an asshole. You like that. There's no. I'm not. You're asking me to like be
You
soft.
need you need to come in and say, Muhammad,
Yeah. I mean, if
a 9-year-old wife, a 9-year-old wife.
if Muslims were
That's what you're
running
saying?
if Muslims were running the melee scene, I'd be saying that. Yeah, and they'd kill me, probably. So,
It might be a little worse than just
well, but the thing is if this trans thing went a little further, it will get to the point where misgendering somebody is punishable by death. We see it like I know it sounds crazy. They're not doing it yet, right? And I know that I'm like a slippery slope like doomsday guy, but the thing is taking somebody's job away is like killing them. It's a version of killing them. If I take away your ability to make money, I haven't committed murder.
Yes, I mean, I don't disagree that, like, in effect, it can be truly devastating, but in process, it's so different. It's so
Yeah.
fundamentally different.
It's not the same as
There's such
shooting
a
somebody.
separation. There's such a difference between, corporate life and your
Yeah.
rights,
I
your fundamental human
I
rights.
I
You
guess
don't have
what
a fundamental human right to a job.
yeah. But so
So it is
but
this, like, very high impact thing that you can hit that.
I guess what I'm saying here is that if you look at the products, if you look at a society that ends up being run by these systems of ideas, you see things like Soviet Russia where people are thrown into gulags, where starvation occurs on mass scales, where it is a kind of like living hell and people are trapped by the lie. And the way that you stop that is you tell the truth. Now, you tell the truth
I don't think
today.
that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen here.
It happened in
Uh,
Melee. That's it. It happened to
yeah,
the Melee
and,
scene.
well, you didn't get gulagged.
Hacks died.
Well, yeah, but um, give me a second to try to figure out what exactly my objection is.
Yeah. I might use the restroom real quick. I don't know if you have to too. I was gonna
Go
take a
ahead.
quick bathroom break. All right, I'll be right back. I'm just gonna let the video run. So.
Yep.
All right.
I don't have access to any kind of chat. I don't know who's listening. I'm all talking to myself, but maybe we're all alone all the time.
Okay. Okay. Hopefully that was fast
Okay,
enough.
no, that's good.
Very
I
unprofessional.
have a different framing for the conversation,
Okay. Sure.
or a different direction that I want to take it in. Um, okay, so you've given your grand narratives for the great problems of our society, and you've described this whole Marxist ideology, um,
Yeah.
I also am not a fan of Marxist ideology.
Yeah.
I I don't like ideology generally, but it's kind of difficult because you can't escape ideology. Um, once if you try to escape all ideology, you end up in the anti-ideology ideology, and it's kind of inescapable. I don't know. Have you ever listened to Zizek? He discusses this quite a bit.
He's tough to listen to.
Um, he does have an accent and a way of talking.
Yeah.
But his some of his work is about ideology and the function of ideology in society. And um, um, okay, well, in any case, um, there's a lot of ideologies that I think are really problematic in the U.S. I mean, yeah, there's the Marxist ideology. I don't want to get into the whole partisan nature of it, but the MAGA cult ideology is really pretty bad too. Um,
Yeah.
they've got a lot of power. Um,
Yeah.
um, in any case, I, despite that, I find as a liberal, maybe my biggest frustration with people on the left, and this has been my issue with the Smash community, is the inability to see someone who holds a different ideology and look beyond that to see the person themselves. I kind of think that
No.
um, all these people that are really partisan, I feel sad. I feel like they're like slaves to this ideology. Yeah, this great egregore that's just pulling the strings and moving them around. Um, but I feel like uh, you're very viciously fighting. Uh, you're the puppet of this other ideology.
Hmm.
Um,
Perhaps.
and I think that, yeah, I think it seems okay. So if I were to diagnose like the biggest problems in the U.S.,
Yeah.
I don't think this is that uncommon now to think, but the political division is crazy. I mean, I think political division, is the to me it's the most concerning issue. The idea that a woman is shot in Minnesota and somehow 50% of people all think it was murder and the other 50% all think it was justified self-defense. Um,
Yeah.
and it's been described as this perfect scissor statement. These scissor statements that'll cut everyone on one side, and everyone on one side thinks the other side is fucking insane. Um, and I don't think that standing on one side of the scissor is going to make the change that you want. I think you need a Hegelian synthesis. Um, I don't think I think there's a path to hold what you believe without like who cares if there's this Marxist ideology? Like, why are you so mad at the people that are just being puppeted around by this ideology? Like, meet them beyond that.
They
Meet
kill.
them
They
in
kill.
place of it. See them for themselves.
They killed hacks.
They didn't. They really didn't. Hacks was structurally killed, and I think that there were people who made. I think there are people you can identify who seriously made horrible mistakes. I think that there are specific individuals you can point out to lay the blame on, but not every person who's just getting dragged by the ideology and just did their own little flick in that direction, has the full moral blame of that. And if they did, so what? What do you think of forgiveness?
Yeah, forgiveness is key. I was going to say that earlier, is that running this event, I'm going to run into people that I
Right.
will need to forgive, and that is challenging
Uh,
because I don't want to do the fake free, like, oh, I forgive you, like, I'm so
oh
much
yeah,
better than
yeah,
you, I forgive you, so what if you hurt me, like this, like, what do you call it, arrogant kind of thing. You need to do Christ-like forgiveness, which is where you genuinely love that person, and you see, like what you're saying, you see, okay, I can
yeah,
empathize with you and see why you did this, and I do forgive you, like literally,
yeah.
actually. But
I see. So maybe this is what I'm getting at is
yeah,
that I think your project of starting a tournament, I think it's a great first step, and I'm sensing in you that you're going to run into trouble with this element.
Oh yeah.
This is gonna be really tough.
People are gonna
Um,
show up and protest it, I think. So like they're gonna try and get it
that's
canceled.
badass. If they show up and protest, that's badass.
Well, yeah, I mean,
That's kind of badass.
I'm
Oh,
not worried about protesters as much as I'm worried about somebody coming in and fucking with it somehow, like just breaking things
uh,
or like I don't know, screaming or whatever. I don't know how I'm gonna deal with that, but I guess I'll just deal with it when the time comes. Um,
I
if they,
think you should probably laugh and treat them with kindness, and
yeah,
then have to leave. Yeah, yeah, because anything like that, you
well,
don't want to freak out.
it's funny that because you talk about this online thing. I think online people are wild, but then in person, when we do meet face to face, and they're like
Yeah.
transphobe, you're a Nazi. If I just stand there and look at them, and I'm like, yeah, like come on, dude, like just like they will calm down. I think 99% of the time, unless they're like completely an insane person. But like,
Okay, why? I
yeah,
think like sure. Um, you know, the trans stuff is an ideology that gets people to take hormones, and hormones aren't good for your body. And
yeah,
we both agree that there's some sample of people who are benefited by it, and there's some sample of people who are not benefited by it and are taking them anyways. Um, um, you're so mad about it. You're so mad about it. You're very angry that people are doing it.
I'm angry. I said this on Twitter too. I will stop talking about transgenders the day the bans for transphobia ends. I'll never talk about it again, except privately or whatever. I won't talk about it publicly. So, I mean, like trans people are still going to exist. I'm not going to say that I'm going to pretend like they don't exist, right? But I'm not going to argue about it. I won't care about it anymore. The day that
I mean,
the day the bans end, it's over. I'm no longer transphobic. The
what
day
about like smokers or people who drink? Like you don't. Okay, I guess.
they don't.
Okay, I don't know how to get you this. I'm not trying to call you like a hypocrite, but
Hmm.
there is like a contradiction in not a contradiction. You have unsettled like anger towards the transness concept that makes it so that you can't live with them.
I don't think that's true.
Um, so what's so ridiculous about like making some trans friends?
I am not against it at all. I'd love to make trans friends. I mean, I'm not going to go out of my way to do it. I'm not going to like spot one and be like, haha, you know,
Wait, why not? What's wrong with that?
that's crazy.
That's not crazy. Why is
Yeah,
that
it is.
crazy?
Isn't that transphobic?
That's what a politician does.
Yeah, that's
They look
ridiculous.
for people that they
No,
look for people and
I would not be genuinely friends with them. That wouldn't be a genuine friend. A friend isn't somebody you become
why wouldn't
friends
it be a
with.
genuine friend?
Because I don't become friends with
What
somebody.
if I see a cute girl on the bus and I say next to her, is that not genuine?
Okay, but yeah, so your motivation was sexual at some level or like romantic, right? If it's a cute
Maybe,
girl.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, no, if I,
That's like a factor, but you have to allow that, or else then I'm
yeah,
never allowed to talk to cute girls.
I'm not going to become friends with somebody in a political effort, right? I'd be using them. It would be not genuine. I want to be friends with people that I just like hanging out with. And like as it currently
Well, it
stands,
would be good for you to be friends with trans people.
it would be good for my political goals. Yeah, it'd be great.
It would
So
be good for you.
sure, I like friends. I'm down to be friends with anybody. Yeah, I like having friends. I have all sorts of crazy friends, right? Of all sorts of identities. I don't happen to have a trans friend that I hang out with on a regular basis right now, but I'm not against it. You know, I have friends that are,
Um,
I hate to do this. I have friends that are of all of the identity categories. I just don't like doing. I hate when that's already putting myself in the Marxist mindset that I've been talking about. The fact that there's like even a value distinction between people. If I see a black guy and I'm like, oh, this is my chance to prove that I can get along with black people, let me go be friends with him. That's crazy. And if I was that black guy, I wouldn't
you do
want.
make a value distinction between people, though. You're bothered by their ideology. I know you're not
Yes,
bothered by their transness per se, but you are bothered by their ideology.
yes, I am. But that has nothing to do
And
with
that's a
trans
value
people.
judgment.
Most of them aren't trans.
It has a bit to do with trans people.
No, because most of the people
That's like saying that like Nazism has nothing to do with white people. It's got a little to do with it.
well, that one was specifically based on a racial category, right?
I mean, what category is trans? No, okay, you can't get away with saying that it has nothing to do. Obviously, the trans identity is a part.
Well,
It's
what I'm saying
it's a big
is
component.
I don't have a problem with transgender people. I have a problem with the system of ideas
Sure.
that caused me to get kicked out of the scene.
And you're letting that system of ideas prevent you from making human connection.
I what do you mean? Okay, what do you mean?
Because you're saying that you hate the ideology. You don't hate transness, but you hate the ideology.
I hate the Marxist ideology. Yes, even
And
hate's not a right word. I'm afraid of it. Is probably a better word.
and you
So
you're Marx phobic.
yeah, I think it'll kill me. I think it'll kill everybody. It sucks. Based on what I understand about
Um,
history, it sounds like it really sucks when Marxism wins. So I'm afraid of it winning. So, and it does have this weird. I think the trans people are just a tool. So, and if I go out of my way to make a trans friend, I'm falling into their system of ideas. I'm not against it at all. I would love a friend of any kind. So, of any human being on the
like
planet.
what about like I sit on the plane. I like plane rides
Sure.
because when you sit down on the plane, the
Yeah.
person who sat next to you has to sit with you for like 3 hours. They can't get away from you, so
Yeah.
you can just talk to
Perfect.
them. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, and I see they're wearing a crucifix, and I'm
Sure.
like, wow, okay, I'm going to talk to them about Christianity. Um, what's wrong with that?
Nothing.
That improves my relationship with the Christians. It improves their relationship with the atheists. It's done something good. And it was spawned because I saw this character trait of theirs and I decided to interact and make something positive, like because of it. Like it's the exact thing that you're talking about.
Yeah, I
But I'm
would.
just framing it like as if it wasn't a terrible thing to
I,
do.
I mean, did you see episode one? I talked to a transgender woman for an hour or so, right? Like, I would love to.
Okay.
I'm always reaching out down to talk to anybody. Like, even at these melee events, I was genuinely trying to be friendly with you, with literally everybody there. But I was making an effort to try to be friends with trans people, right? I'm not like
Okay, but
being a
imagine I
psycho
live
about it.
in a
Yeah,
like if I lived in a very religious community,
yeah.
I'm going to be true to myself, but I'm not going to explode on them for their Christianity or constantly bring it up or
Well,
wait.
as long as they're treating you fairly, then it's okay. As long as you can still go to the store and if you want to go to the church events and they're not like the Christians today at least are not acting unfairly towards me and not towards atheists. Like there's a church down the road. I have never seen them do anything that I would call treacherous, right? But then the trans people, the trans ideology, I should say, not the people, not the trans people,
Yeah, yeah.
they're making it so
You were saying that even prior, like the grammar of your sentence was implying it was going to be about trans people. And it is about the people. Like you're talking about this obstruction to you with the people. And I'm totally in agreement that there's this ideology that's
yeah,
getting in the way. But
yeah,
in the same way, um, um, I'm also like the Trump whisperer. I'm really good at talking with people who are like big Trump fans.
okay,
Um, and there's a way to say that I think he's insane, and I think it's a cult without like alienating
sure,
them. It can be done.
yeah, I'm sure it can.
But
So
you seem to feel that there's no way for you to interact without alienating the ideology.
yes, I am a counter-revolutionary. I want to prevent the revolution. Uh, it is necessary. So, um,
I'm sure Sun Tzu has something about like not always fighting every battle all the time. Like
Well,
that's the point. But when I'm saying that, like fundamentally, if you want to change the scene, you would have to coexist with it. This ideology, yes, I agree, it is like extremely prominent. You would have to coexist with it, show that you can coexist with this ideology, you can live among these people, and that you provide an addition to or a change from this ideology that can morph the people in the community in your direction.
uh,
But you think it's impossible. You think it's impossible to do what I'm
yeah,
saying too.
if I can't stand attending an event where another person's not allowed to attend it. I can't, like, I've always been, maybe it's a characteristic thing, but like even in kindergarten, if there was like the kid,
You can stand it.
no, I can't. I can't. If I'm at a birthday
You can stand
party
it.
in second grade and there's a kid that's not invited, I'm going to go
Did
to
you
hit.
enter the Monomonthly?
Yeah.
There's some band players at the Monomonthly.
And I have a problem with that. I've been bringing up that
I
issue
might have a problem
constantly.
with it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you say you can't stand it.
Yeah.
So, because you brought this up as, well, I can't integrate myself with it because there's band players and I can't stand that. I can't stand that, meaning you have to exit it and be on the side. But that's not true. You can stand it, you don't like it, and you can stand against it or you can advocate against it, and all those things you can do while still being a part
No.
of the community.
I think that you're kind of. No, no. What the top players should have done in Hax's case was boycott all events that banned Hax. That would have been the right thing to do.
Yes. And
Yeah.
it was a coordination issue.
So
Clearly they should have, clearly they could have, and it would have changed everything, of course.
I'm
It's a
not.
coordination issue. So that we need well-thinking people within the power structure.
Hmm. So I don't, I can't be a part of it. I just can't. I can't go to an event. I can't. It's, there's so many people that are banned that are being treated unfairly. And I know what I can say to get back in. I could do it today. And I could get, I'm confident that I
Okay,
could.
you keep saying that you could, but you're describing a version that's unbearable to you, which is to do this totally fake contrition apology thing.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is that there's a way to do this overture that is true to yourself while also um, allowing, giving yourself a chance to be trusted. And it might take time or whatever. But there's a way to hold your position. There's nothing about your philosophical positions that are. The only thing probably is the pronouns. That's the only real issue is the pronouns.
Yeah.
Um, and if you're able to use they them, which if you're not a baby, you can use they them.
The one thing that's nice about Melee is everybody has a tag that's not even their name. So I can just be like,
That's
hey,
true too. Yeah,
hey,
you can avoid it pretty easily, but if you're ever in a situation where you absolutely have to, you could, you should, for your own sake. There's not some great reason to not.
I don't know. I don't know even know if that's true. What matters the most to me is telling the truth. So if I feel like
There's nothing false about saying they them. That's not false.
yeah, but it'd be the
The
same.
singular they has always been used in English.
Yeah, but it's like I'm not gonna. There's nothing false about saying that America is a country, but I don't say I'm from a country. When somebody says where are you from, I don't say a country. Like, yes, I'm not lying to you, but I'm also not answering your question, right? Like, hey, where do you live? Earth. Like, all right, did I tell you the truth? Yes. Am I, like, it's the same thing with they, them. It's like, am I lying? Kinda. In a sense, I'm not saying what I think. So.
Okay. Well, if someone said, "Where are you from?" and I said, "Can't you tell with my accent?" That wouldn't be a lie. If they
That's,
could tell,
yeah.
if they could tell, and it was communicated, that wouldn't be a lie, and that would be totally.
It's the same thing that I've always said. I will use she, her when I'm convinced you're a woman. So if you're convincing, I'm going to say she, her. How am I even going to know otherwise?
I understand
Yeah.
not using she, her if you don't view them as a woman. I understand. I get it.
Some of them are very convincing.
What I'm saying,
Yeah.
what I'm saying is that the insistence
Yeah.
to use he, him is pointlessly self-destructive.
I could just
You can say they them.
I
You can
could
say they them.
I could just as easily say the other way around, that
Go for it.
it's
Try to say it the other way around.
it's
Try to
self
make this argument.
it's self-destructive to say they them, because what you're doing is handing more power to this ideology I'm talking about, which is trying to gain power.
No, you're not handing more power to them.
You are.
Not if you sneak in. Oh, really? Was Palpatine giving the Empire more power when he became a senator? No, he became a senator so that he could become the Emperor.
I mean, yeah, right. I mean, yeah, the senator's the step that he
No,
took.
you're not.
What are you
Yeah,
saying?
so
Yeah.
you're saying that it's giving them more power. No, it's not. If it's in the service of something meaningful, you're not lying when you say it. You're not lying when you say it, and you're completely shooting yourself in the foot for not.
I don't know.
You're causing meaningless
I
division.
well,
You're saying Muhammad is a pedophile when you really don't need to right then. You could really easily avoid the Muhammad calling Muhammad a pedophile. You could really easily avoid it without lying.
if what you're
You
saying,
say Muhammad is the prophet in the religion of Islam. That's true too.
if what you're saying is choose your battles, then I probably have to agree with you that there are times and places.
That is a battle.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is unambiguously,
Yeah.
the pronouns are a battle you should not fight for a million reasons. Not only is it totally uphill, but it is in their religion, so to speak, a form of what's the word for the greatest of
blasphemy.
religious transgressions? Yeah, it is a blasphemy. It is a blasphemy.
Yeah.
And I totally sympathize that it is uncomfortable sometimes to not blaspheme in a group of people who think differently from you. But it's not lying, and it's not, a departure of who you are to have a little tact.
Okay, I get what you're saying, and I think I agree. I wouldn't go to a Muslim country and start being like, Muhammad's not real. Like there's
Muhammad's a pedophile.
there's politeness, you know.
Okay, so there's a really great leverage point. Here's a really good leverage point. Is you say, okay, on my blog, I might say this or that philosophical thing. These get no views. I'm not bringing in, and when I come to tournaments, I'm not going to misgender trans people. I will not misgender trans people.
I haven't yet to do that, and it's what I've said on my blog. So,
But wait. When you have these conversations about the topic, you don't sound like someone who's promising that they're never going to misgender someone.
I will not promise that. No, I'm not going to promise that. But I haven't yet.
Why not?
Because I think in some cases you probably should. You probably should misgender somebody.
Okay, yeah, there exist cases. There exist.
Yeah, so I'm not going to promise.
Cases.
I'm not going to promise something I can't keep. But so far in all of 2024, I went to these tournaments and I didn't misgender anybody, and I even said I was going to do that to everybody.
Oh God!
I told everybody I won't misgender anybody.
You're self-sabotaging.
Maybe.
You're self-sabotaging. You're like.
I don't want to kneel to this goddamn flag. I won't kneel under any circumstance.
You don't have to kneel.
It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one.
Okay. In the Bible, it says, to give Caesar his due or whatever, to follow the laws of Caesar.
Yes.
But it does not say to kneel.
That's true. Yeah, render unto Caesar what is Caesar, and unto God what is God's. Yes, yes.
Also in the Ten Commandments, hold no other above God or whatever. So you don't kneel to Caesar, but you do follow his laws.
Yes. And the second they make misgendering illegal, I'm going to die in a gunfight against the police. So that's a promise.
Oh.
So if what's happening in England right now, if you tweet a misgender and you go to jail, they're going to have to shoot me. They're going to, so You can take that to the bank. This will
Why
be a
is
good
this
clip.
so? I don't think I don't think you're being rational.
I
Like
disagree.
I don't think it's in line with your worldview to be like, I have to tell all Muslims that Muhammad's a pedophile.
I would be happier if Sharia law took over the US than Marxism. I would rather have Muslims take over this country than the current Marxist ideology that I see in Melee. The Muslims would do a better job
Regardless.
running the country.
It's
So,
funny to say.
yeah, but they would. I would do great under Sharia law. I would not do great under.
I don't know that that's true.
I could pray 5 times a day and not disrespect Muhammad. I could handle that one.
Are you a virgin?
Oh shit! Aren't men? I thought men were allowed to. Oh shit! How serious are we talking for
I don't
Sharia
think there's
law?
any religions where every religion hates sex. I don't think there's any, including, well, maybe not the trans one actually. There might be one of the few that is.
I would argue they
sexual.
hate sex
Feminism
the
is-
most. I would argue the trans thing despises sex, but that's a whole. Okay, just to reel it back a step
Yeah, yeah.
here. You're talking about
Yeah,
this
yeah.
the Caesar thing, and there is like a realistic like. I don't want to be just swinging my sword constantly at every battle, causing like it
Yeah.
is. It would be a waste of.
And you just agreed with me that you can do they them, and then I'm like, okay, that's great, because I've had these conversations. No, give me a second.
Okay.
I've had these conversations with you. I've had these conversations with a rookie, and then a rookie is like, no, I'm like a Christian, and I see things this way or that way. He has like a religious need to do that. That's a lot harder to say that he should acquiesce on this.
I agree
But
with Rookie though.
Your ideology
Yeah.
doesn't require or forbid using they them. It doesn't, and you're saying that you already don't do this. You're already like
Yeah.
trying not to misgender people because you don't want it to be used against you. You're already doing it in terms of self-defense. And then I'm like, well, that's great because that's like something you could put up in terms of like for trust. That's like a form of credit you have. Is to say, I can see that you're nervous about how I'm going to be with this trans stuff, but you don't have to worry. I'm not going to misgender anyone. And so I think there's really two things. It's misgendering and then the talking about trans stuff, if it's like at a trans smasher on the internet, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So you can't talk about so-and-so's Adam's apple or whatever.
Yeah.
You can't target a Smash player with something related to any of this.
I don't think.
But when it comes to your blog, and if you're in the general talking about it like you are, yeah, so your point is like, well, look at all this stuff I'm doing. Like, yeah, but you're like also sabotaging your rhetoric on it too.
Well, it's fun. I think we agree because I have not misgendered anybody in real life events. I don't talk about this in real life events, and I also haven't done this at thing either. I mean, I can't say for sure because I've said a lot of things, but I don't. Even on Twitter, when name your person Saul's is saying something, I don't go on there and be like, "Oh, you're a dude," right? And we do have guys in the alt scene that are, anytime, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and I don't actually do that. But the thing is I won't.
No.
I also won't sit here and promise that I won't do that because I don't want to be a liar. Because I won't promise it because I can't guarantee that I'm not gonna be like, fucking, you're a man or whatever, right? You're not a woman. Like I might say that. I don't know, and I don't, and
I mean, you don't think that? Well, that would be harassment.
Well, I suppose.
If I saw someone wear
Yeah.
their hijab to the term and I said, whoa, don't you know Muhammad's a pedophile? That'd be harassment, right?
Yeah, but I'm not going to do it in a real life circumstance unless
Or on the internet.
Let me.
And I know on the internet it's like easier to do, and the platforms get you to want to do it, and it is easy to accidentally do something like that. But that would be harassment, and that would be something you could meaningfully apologize for. Like, shit, I really I made this joke that was really mean,
I want to
Go ahead.
describe where my head is going here, because if I were to say it like right now, like today's January 8th, 2026, I promise I won't misgender anybody, right? If I say that, all I can think in my head is now somebody is going to test me on that. Somebody who knows that this is where they can get me now, they're going to start shit with me. And then I'm just going to say it, because like that now becomes that becomes a vector of attack. So I'd rather just not make the promise.
So when that happens,
Yeah.
you apologize for the harm that you've caused to yourself.
Apologize to
It's
myself.
true.
Oh man, I don't know.
You apologize. I mean, you agree that targeting a trans person and like making a thing about their actual biological sex, that is a form of harassment, that it's mean to do. There are like, yes, I know you can think of like select circumstances where it's like it's your close friend and you're like, ah, like reality check time, like I need to be the one person in your life that's not like going along with all this, like you've come here to confide, whatever, sure. But even there's really, you wouldn't say it that way to a friend. I'm talking about, you're talking about the situation where someone gets at you and then you snap back and you say oh, I've got a good one. Okay, the N word.
Oh boy, yeah.
Okay, the
Sure.
N word is insane. It doesn't make any sense. The rules around the N word make no sense. One, there's two of them. And one's the bad one that no one says, and one's the really cool one that everyone but me gets to say.
Yeah.
And I can't even like participate in art because like I have to not sing along. I have to say ninja when I'm singing along because maybe someone is recording my house and they're going to send it to my employer and I'm going to get fired for singing along to a song or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a word. Things are so different now. People don't really use it as a slur against people now in that way. And when you say, okay, there's all these great rationalizations that we have for like not really caring about, but we know what the fucking rules are.
Yeah. I mean, there's what happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have
So okay, I think
I mean, I could tell you what I would say about that is that you would want a world where the rules aren't what they are currently. So I think the rules are stupid.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I think it's stupid too.
Yeah.
But and in calling it stupid, you know what the worst thing I could do is fucking say it because you lose all your credibility.
I can say nigger. Why can't I say that? I
What are
mean,
you streaming on? Where are you streaming?
I'm putting this on YouTube, so there's your clip, everybody. You know, it's a word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a word. It's a word.
So I don't think that what I've done just now is create like a future Nazi realm. I don't think that that's true. You know.
No, but you've harmed yourself. I really wish you hadn't.
I mean, have I? I think that this is a problem that I brought up with Mike Hollow. I talked to Mike Hollow about this. I have this Discord server. There was that Discord server where we were all going.
I didn't bring it up for you to say it.
Well,
you literally said it just to prove a point that you could say it.
I think the rules are stupid. I don't think that there should be a punishment for this type of thing, right? Like that. And so how do I change the system other than not being afraid of the rule? It's the same thing. It's the system of ideas I've been talking about. The only way to get past it is to tell the truth. I think the truth is the rules are stupid. If I actually believe that, then I should be able to behave as such, right? This is something Mike Hollow talked about.
No, just because you think the rules are stupid doesn't mean that you aren't subject to them. Socrates still drank the hemlock despite saying that the trial was a total sham.
Okay, well, okay. I just, what's funny to me...
Mic drop moment.
I mean, yeah, but Socrates. I'm not Socrates, but...
Maybe you should be Socrates.
I think... all I was trying to say is that Mike Hollow was talking about how he saw screenshots from a Discord server, the Anarchy Realm, if you remember that one, where people were going nuts, right? It was
no, I don't know that one.
Okay, you missed that era of the alt scene. It was the Discord server. There's no rules. People were just it was 4chan. It was
Yeah.
just 4chan, right?
Yeah.
So there
Got
were
it.
screenshots that went around, right? And Mike Hollow saw one of these screenshots, and it was a bad thing that I had said. It involved the word rape, and it was a little sketchy, right? But we were fucking around. What I have a problem with is the fact that that's our culture. That somebody can take a screenshot, like I just said the N-word. Somebody can now take that clip and do what? And get me in trouble. So that system is bad. If you're participating in that system, like if you saw that clip and you go, oh my God, I shouldn't hire Matt. I should fire him, or I should, whatever the thing is, that I shouldn't be friends with him. If you believe that, you're the problem. I'm not the problem. Me saying the N-word's not the problem. The problem is the
I'm
way
not saying that you're the problem.
Yeah.
But you're devolving this into a partisan fight. When I'm saying that you're self-sabotaging, you're hurting yourself by doing that.
I don't want the Marxists to win. I think that that's like the greatest
You're
self-sabotage.
letting them win
How?
by doing that.
No.
By displaying that you can't coexist with easy to follow norms. To thumb your nose at them.
Yeah, they shouldn't
You may well lose for it. It's not a certainty, but it's totally conceivable.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can both agree that we can imagine situations where someone violates some norm, it's a stupid norm, but then they get completely destroyed and they have no capacity to cause change because of it.
Yeah, that would be
And that
bad.
would be losing for it.
Yeah, I think I'd rather die on that hill. I just think that that's where I stand. I'd rather just go out swinging. I'm not going to go along with it.
So it's less about causing change.
No, I'm going to cause change. I'm not going to lose this. That's the funny thing.
Okay, I know you have this Falco main mentality. That's like, yes, I'm the protagonist, and I'm the coolest guy ever, and I'm gonna change, and they're all gonna see.
Oh my God.
They're all gonna see after all.
Yeah, it's not even that unreal. Like, what's funny about it is that, like, this is so low stakes. The Melee scene is low, like, it's low stakes. First of all, my career doesn't depend on Melee, so if I get kicked out, I can survive elsewhere, right? But the other thing is like, to me, rather than going out and becoming a politician and trying to save the United States from Marxism, my route is doing it through Melee. Melee is a small enough thing that
I totally agree.
with my limited power, can
But
actually...
You're like, I don't need to do politics, though. I'm just going to do
Well, I'm doing politics right now.
I'm going to create a guerrilla force on the outside.
Guerrilla's a good word. So, yeah.
With a... guerrilla.
No, I was just, because it's a monkey thing. But no, I think that what I can actually do and to be an influencer, to have influence in the scene, is to run my own event, and and have these conversations. I'm trying to have this podcast where I talk to you, and I hope more.
I'm not in disagreement.
Yeah.
Having a podcast where you talk about these things is good.
And I have been trying to talk to top players, but the only way that I can talk to them is like through Twitch chats or through text channels. And if we talk over text, nothing happens. It either has to be through voice or in person. And these top guys are trapped. I think if people stop with the bans and they stop giving a shit about transphobia and all this stuff, they'll all make more money. Cody will make more money and finally stop complaining about not making enough money. So.
Well, okay, but Cody is like dating like a trans girl, so that's like off.
He'll make more money and he'll be fine. And his trans girlfriend will be fine too. They're all going to be fine. The trans will be fine. They're going to do okay. If I became dictator of Melee today, literally nothing bad would happen to trans people. I would encourage them to increase their testosterone.
The act of doing politics is your path is you're never gonna be dictator with that attitude.
Well, I don't really want to be dictator,
president.
So I don't want
or
to
president
be.
Or have.
I wouldn't even want to be the leader of the whole scene if the option was given to me.
Okay, well, I guess we're circling around this.
Sure.
I think that to me it's.
Yeah.
There's no reason you can't do both. And you're self-sabotaging by not trying to do both. So the pronouns thing is self-sabotage if you're not willing to do at least gender neutral. But basically it's a promise that you're not going to misgender anyone. And that's something you're already doing. You're already like the difficulty of not misgendering is that you have to go through this whole like mental like translation, like every sentence because we use pronouns in every sentence. And you're already doing that because you don't out of self-defense. So you're already undergoing the harm of
No.
going along with it because you're like, I haven't misgendered anyone in 2 years. And it's like, great, you're really good at this. So why not let the world know
Because
that
everybody
you
else
are
is
actually compatible
everybody
with
else is
their norms?
everybody else is doing that calculation. I'm the only one not doing that calculation. If I see a guy, I say he. Everybody else goes, wait a second, that's a she, and then they do the calculation. So, yeah. Again, if they're convincing, it's not a problem. If I'm run into a convincing trans woman,
Okay,
that's
you're
absolutely
totally
she.
I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about passing versus not passing, she, her versus he, him. I'm talking
Yeah.
about not passing,
Yeah.
they, them,
Um.
and there's no good reason not to use they,
Yeah,
them,
I agree with
and
you.
it's to your benefit.
I don't want to
Yeah.
make the promise. I agree with you. I just can't make that
Making
promise.
the promise is a really good idea too.
I can't keep that promise.
Wait, what's your problem with promises?
I would be a liar if I promise
But you-
you that I'm gonna give you $20 tomorrow if you do a thing and then I don't give it to you, then I lied when I made that promise.
So you're saying you're going to misgender smashers?
I'm saying that I can't promise I won't. I can't promise it.
What do you think about marriage?
What about it?
Would you ever get married?
Yeah, absolutely. I would love to. Yeah.
Are you sure you
Gotta find the right lady. Yeah.
Maybe this is because I'm
Sure.
a total sex addict or something, but making a perfect promise that I will never, ever, ever. I mean, I'm of the same mind that like there are situations that could come up where I'm going to totally fuck up or do something that's contrary to what I want to do.
Yeah. Sure.
But yet I could still make a vow.
Yeah. Yeah, I think if you want to talk about marriage, I think if you get married and then 15 years later you get divorced, you lied the day of your marriage.
But that fear shouldn't stop you from making that commitment in the first place.
No, of course not.
And so if I did get divorced, I would tell my wife I'm sorry for breaking the vow.
Yeah.
I harmed us both by breaking the vow.
In the case of a marriage, I would think that I would genuinely believe at that time that I'm going to spend the rest of my, I would genuinely believe the words that are coming out of my mouth that like, yes, I do. I will get married. We do. Right. That's like a real vow. If I promise that I'm not going to misgender anybody, even in my head, I'm thinking, I can't promise that. So I'm lying because I could say maybe most of the time I won't, but I'm not even going to promise that because I don't want. I can.
But it's true.
It is true. Most of the time I won't misgender people. Yeah, it is true. I'm just not gonna, because I know what's gonna happen. I know that there's some asshole out there who's gonna come at me and be like, "I'm a woman,
yes,
Matt. I'm a woman."
Their system does allow for that mistake, and you can apologize for that, and you can sincerely apologize for that because it would sincerely be a mistake.
I promise I will apologize when I feel like I should apologize. So I'm trying, yeah.
Well, what does that mean? When you feel like you should apologize? That sounds so.
Well, if I feel like I hurt somebody's
feelings. What do you apologize for?
If I made a mistake and I hurt somebody's feelings, then I'll apologize.
If you made a mistake.
Yeah.
If you made a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is tough because,
don't you think that misgendering people would be a mistake?
I think that encouraging somebody to cut off their testicles is a mistake. So,
Okay, don't do that.
Yeah. So,
but that had nothing to do with what I said.
It is. If I say shit like I got.
No, it's not. Saying they them is not encouraging that anyone cuts off their testicles. That's insane.
It kind of is. Kind of is. You know what I mean?
Rendering to Caesar what is due to Caesar, but it's not.
Oh, well, fuck Caesar. Caesar shouldn't tell me to not misgender. I'm glad Caesar in our country says that I have the right to misgender you. Right now, I have that right. And if Caesar takes away that right, I'm going to...
in a corporate world where corporations have so much power that
yeah, it sucks.
we can use extra governmental like.
Somebody should. If Caesar makes it illegal to misgender, somebody should shoot Caesar. Shoot him. Shoot him, please. Or elect a different Caesar.
Wait, okay. You agree with me that it's a mistake to misgender smashers. It's a mistake to do that.
Okay, let's break this down into two categories here. If there's a friend of mine who I care about and I want them to be on the best path in life, I think it is definitely a mistake.
And you're having like you're having some like fucking real talk, like deep late at night fucking conversation about some real shit. Sure, that's not what I'm talking about.
No,
and the people you're talking to know that that's not what you're talking about either.
No, not even though. If it's a friend that I care about, not even in a late night situation. At any point at all, I'm not going to use the pronouns they're asking me to use. I refuse to do that. If it's a friend I care about.
I'm talking about they, them.
I won't do they, them either. With this one friend of mine that I actually know personally, that I've known for years, I won't even use they, them. I'm going to continue to say he, him in all conversations with him. So, because I care about him. It is because I care about him. He said he's going to cut off his nuts. He's given himself the cross-sex hormones. I'm watching him physically disintegrate in front of my eyes. He says he's going to cut off his nuts.
Are they a smasher?
I think that's no, he's not a smasher. He's not.
Okay, then it's not a problem. We're not talking about him.
Well, I was talking about like with my, like if it's a friend that I care about, I won't do it.
So when you're promising the TO, you're not going to misgender anyone. You're talking about smashers in the context of like Super Smash Brothers.
Okay, if it's like a professional
tournaments. Yes, this is like a professional. Yes, it's like a professional environment.
Then I'm just gonna do the melee thing where I just go, it's it's table over there.
I understand that you're going to do that.
Which even that is like saying
there's a step beyond that, which is to say, but there's a step beyond that, which is to say, like, I'm not going to misgender people at Smash tournaments.
I won't say, I can't lie. In this moment, I won't lie. That's all I'm gonna say. I can't tell a lie. I don't want to lie. So,
wait, okay, hold on. A lie is like knowingly
I know that,
something false.
I know that this is so
that it's a
lie.
When you say it's a lie, when you say, if I said I will not misgender smashers,
yes,
that's statement A.
Okay.
For you to say that's a lie, that's to say that you have knowledge that A is false. Which is to say, you have knowledge that you will misgender smashers. It's a promise that you will misgender smashers at tournaments.
Okay, wait. Yeah. Okay, wait. What's the next thing you're gonna say? Because I think I get.
I'm just using deductive logic, zeroth order propositional logic on the shit you said.
There's people listening to this right now that are like smashing their screen, like, what the fuck are these guys talking about? This
statement A equals I will not misgender smashers at tournaments.
If that's false, it means that I will misgender smashers.
It means you will.
Okay.
And if you're saying that that's a lie, that's saying not only is it false, you know that it's false. That's all the lie addition adds to it. But it's to say that it's false. So for that to be false, you're saying not only will you know that you're going to misgender smashers at tournaments. Well, then fucking obviously the tournament organizers are going to be nervous about having you there. You're saying you're going to misgender people.
I don't know for sure. I'm not guaranteeing I will. I'm not guaranteeing I won't. I've reserved the right to say what I want to say when I want to say it. And I'm not going to promise that I'm not going to say anything. That's right.
So, but that's how everyone already does the thing, because everyone fucks up the pronouns all the time already. Everyone already fucks it up. So you're saying like, well, I'm not going to say that I'm going to try, because if I fuck up, I might fuck up.
I don't even see it as a fuck up. I think literally everybody fucks up all the time when they refer to Magi as she, her. You're fucking up. That's how I see it. So, you know what I mean?
But you're also fucking up if you refer to Magi as she, him.
So,
you're deeply fucking up. It's true. You're fucking up if you do that.
Nah. I'm not gonna let him win. I'm not gonna let this ideology hold any power over me.
Wait, that's not letting it win. You're putting your head in front of it and saying, "Please, fucking decapitate me, you fuckers."
Yeah, I think I am doing that. Yeah, I'm saying you have to kill me. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to kill me, and I think some of them would. You know, they might. So
Maybe.
that's how this works. If you look back at Russia, you look at China, people died trying to stop them. People were killed. Counter revolutionaries are killed by the revolutionaries every time. And what I'm saying is, you're gonna have
If
to.
you're trying to say that like those people, there are people who, if they were in that setting, would do this, sure. But we aren't in that world right now. The environment is not one where they're going to kill you.
If you look at the way that this ideology behaves in groups, like if you look at Antifa, how much of that is like a Marxist thing? How much of that is just anarchy? I don't know. It's hard to characterize Antifa, but one thing that they do is they get you in a crowd and they strike you from behind physically with a blunt object. That happens to people in these protests. And so who's the person that does that striking? Is that an ideologue, or is that like a psychotic person that's enabled by a system of ideas? Like, what exactly is doing that? The point is it is violent. It is like a murderous, like
every ideology has
yeah,
can turn a person psychotic.
Yeah, it's a problem, isn't it?
Yeah, you're saying like that's gonna happen. It happened to Charlie Kirk, and it was roundly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the word?
I think most people thought that was a bad thing.
Most people think it's a bad thing.
Most reasonable.
Most people think it's a bad thing. Yeah. That's not catching on.
Yeah.
Well, there may be some more political assassinations. I mean, that might catch on. But I just mean, like, and the political assassinations go both ways. I mean, I think that's just the attitude now.
Yeah.
It's not like a Marxism thing.
Yeah, I think that there is a real thing in the country that can be described as Marxist, and it did try, or it is trying, but it hasn't succeeded. It has not taken over. It seems like there's enough people that are against it.
We have a robust democracy.
Yeah, there's enough assholes on both sides to keep it balanced enough.
Yeah.
Right. So like whatever happened in Russia, I don't think can happen here, but it did happen it did happen in the melee scene. What happened in Russia did happen in the melee scene, which is it makes me sound nuts, and I know it does. But like hacks died from it, and people they get kicked out, and they're not being directly killed, but like there's a lot of banned players that attempt suicide, and like there is like this viciousness that like you're not killing somebody, but
there have been multiple trans people. There have been multiple trans people who've been banned in attempted suicide.
Yeah, well, they just got to stop getting banned. Yeah, man. Wow.
Well, okay. I think it feels like we're circling. I just
I get what you're saying. I should have more tact.
Yeah, I think you agree. I think you agree with me, and I think you're being bombastic, and it's funny. I think you're being bombastic, but like, I really think like that would be the step with the trust element of getting the people around you is it's not just saying like I'm not going to cause problems. Like, really, the two norms that you have to do, like, don't misgender. That's like the big thing. Like, because that's the trap that gets you, is because there's nowhere where the only time that you end up accidentally revealing your wrongthink is in the pronouns.
Yeah, and the problem is that people hide their wrongthink. That is literally the problem. This is the problem. Is that the wrongthink needs to be outside of everybody's head.
But I'm saying that like if you're able to demonstrate some self-control.
Yeah.
If you're able to demonstrate some self-control and you don't seem like you're gonna flip out and have like an ideological partisan rant at a tournament or something, and all that stuff is devoted to a blog, and you're able to make promises about your conduct at tournaments, like that you won't misgender people. I think, okay, yeah, I really hope you think about that you're already like making an effort not to misgender people. You kind of agree that like it is kind of harassment to misgender people. There are situations where that sort of thing, there are situations where having a conversation with a Muslim, it's reasonable to have like a serious discussion with like, how do you handle this? Like, what do you really think? Like, how do you handle your gender dysphoria? Really, I really have trouble seeing you as a woman. It's going to be really difficult for me. Um, or I'm not very able to see you as a woman. Um, I'm going to treat you as best as I can, and I'm not going to misgender you. Um, oh, you know what? I want to give a personal anecdote. I struggle more with the non-binary stuff than with the trans stuff because I kind of think all the trans stuff, like you said, if you see them as that, if it just comes across that way to you, you'll use she, her, and I can muddy things up enough that like, yeah, I can see. It's pretty easy for me to like see a trans woman as a woman. There are trans women that really don't pass that. Um,
Yeah.
it's a larger translation effort, I'll say. Um,
Hmm.
but the non-binary one is difficult because for me, I don't personally have like a non-binary category in my mind. Like I do separate people into men and women. Um, and um, you know, great, you're some third thing, I guess, but you look and talk and dress like a woman, and I know exactly what it's like to have sex with you. And like like the sexness of it is so pronounced that I can't escape my associations. Like I just don't divide the world in that way. And and yet Oh, and one thing that leads to is that if I want to have a close friendship with someone who's non-binary, that's a conversation we end up having to have. Is that like I'm not gonna be able to really see you that way, or it's really very difficult. We're gonna have to talk about my discomfort, but that's part of a personal relationship that I would have. But then in a professional setting, I don't have a personal relationship with these fucking random smashers I'm sitting down to play the
Yeah.
game with. I'll censor myself. Well, anyways, I hope you use some self-control and
Yeah.
then also advertise that you're capable of self-control. And like really, like that's a good thing. That's a good thing to do. It makes you more trustworthy. Just making promises and then satisfying them. That's how you get trust. Um,
I yeah.
and I think it would benefit you and your project.
I'm trustworthy, guys.
So,
You can trust me. Yeah.
do you have any last things you want to talk about before I get going? Were there any other random?
No, no, not really. This has been great. Yeah, this has been a fun
Wait,
conversation.
did you? Okay, now
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ideologue test you. Who did you vote for in 2024?
Ooh,
Did you vote for Trump?
Yeah, Trump in 24. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, how
Yeah,
do you Okay, let's take a pause from this. Now I have to reframe. Now I'm an alien that needs to study Earthlings and poke
sure.
and prod your psychology so I can understand like how.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you feel about the Trump administration?
Oh, so far? Yeah, I'm off that wagon now. I am disappointed and sad about what I am seeing. I only voted.
What are you disappointed
I
with?
I was big.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was big team RFK. I really wanted RFK to win because I'm tired of the blue versus red. Like we need like some third party to do something, right?
Okay, yeah,
And
yeah.
then RFK drops out and he joins Trump's team. And then for a while I'm like, God damn it! Like fucking, can we, And then what really got me to vote for
That's why you're
Trump?
so mad at me is I'm saying like you need to be like RFK. You need to like pop out and remeld yourself with
I
the
know.
party
No.
in power to get power. But
What?
look, that guy's got motherfucking power. He's got power.
Yeah, he does. What?
I can't get a goddamn vaccine down the street because of that motherfucker.
I know. Okay.
I actually can't get a COVID vaccine because of that motherfucker.
What? What?
Anyways.
What really got me to vote for Trump was Elon Musk, and I know that automatically, I already know what responses are going to come out of people's minds, but I am a sci-fi tech gadget nerd, and I like what he's doing with all of his companies, and I'm a big capitalism fan. I love people who build shit, right? And when he said that he was going to team up with Trump and just blast away all of these like the Doge thing, I thought was a great idea, because I think what we're doing is I don't know how we spend like $35 trillion a year or whatever on like bullshit. Like there's like fraud and like the Somalia thing, right? It's like I was thinking, yes, let's get through there with a chainsaw. I thought Trump plus Elon in this cultural mandate, who better than the capitalist and the Trump guy
It's
to
fucking impossible. actually.
Yeah, and I kind of
And
believed it.
Republicans always have bigger deficits than
Yeah,
they
well,
always raise the deficit anyways. Yeah.
I guess I was stupid for believing that they could make a change. And then I was disappointed by Doge. I basically voted for Doge. I thought, okay, if we can't get rid of the politics, at least we can like reduce spending and lower taxes, and like maybe things will clear up. Like it's a mechanical solution. That's why I like Yang. I was massive on Yang because
Oh, okay.
rather than do political solutions, like go one layer lower and like let's just do mechanical changes, and then maybe the politics downstream will like be fixed. And then Elon and Trump broke up, and then
You're like the Mamdani Trump voter.
I might
This was
be.
a big, yeah.
I don't know.
Mamdani, and something that's impressive. He runs on some giant policy he says he's going to do, which is not unlike that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
like
the Democrats really didn't run on like a particular impressive policy or anything.
yeah, I'm sold by mechanical solutions to things. Like I like when it's like a nerdy solution. And then Yang was selling mechanical solutions beyond the UBI thing. He had a bunch of like, let's do ranked choice voting, let's do open primaries and ranked choice voting. And I was like, that is a solution that could work and like do something. And then with Elon, he was like, we're gonna cut the spending, we're gonna get rid of all this, we're gonna upgrade government to modern technology. He was talking about that salt mine where they were like keeping like documents.
Yeah, where they have the
And
documents.
I'm like, that makes sense. Do that. Like that should be apolitical. And then they like broke up in dramatic fashion 3 months in. And I'm like, God damn it. And then this Somalian daycare thing is proving that they didn't do their job. Like of all of the things they should have fixed, it should have fixed that. So it's like, I'm just like sad again. I'm like, okay, nothing's ever gonna change. We're just fucked. Like
Fiscally, there's nothing that we can do. Neither side really wants to cut spending or raise taxes. Well, Republicans are never going to raise taxes, and Democrats are never going to have the political power to raise taxes.
we're just stuck. We're like stuck. It seems like we're just wasting money, and we're stuck arguing about trans stuff when we should be like having like low level boring shit. Like Yang used to say, like, I'm the wet blanket. Like, get rid of like the fiery debate and just cover it with a wet blanket, and then just do boring, shitty work, and like that will.
Trump ran on cultural issues pretty heavily.
Yeah.
You agree, right?
Yeah, I don't really care about all that stuff, honestly. So,
What do you think about immigration?
Oh man, I'm glad that they shut down the border. That I would say that's one thing that Trump did that's good. Let's not let tens of millions of people into the country that are undocumented. That's crazy. Like if you're gonna come in, let's at least count them. At least have a count. Yeah. I think I have the same position that everybody reasonably has, which is like, if people can come in, that's fine. We have plenty of space. We have plenty of resources. America is vast and rich. But we need to have a system, you can't literally just walk in. Like, we have IDs for a reason.
Which side, So my perspective is the Democrats are the only ones that seem to have any desire for changing the bureaucracy around immigration. So Obama had DACA one of the major reasons that we had so much illegal immigration during the Biden presidency wasn't even illegal. It was people coming in on visas and then staying, and then asylum seekers. We had this issue where you can come in from Venezuela and claim asylum, and then the process for getting you seen by a judge takes a year, and then you're out. And that requires funding, immigration, funding the judicial, the judicial branch, and there was a bipartisan bill in Congress in some 2023 to address these problems, and Trump called the Republican lawmakers who signed onto the bill to say, "Kill the bill because I want to run on immigration in 2024." Did you ever hear about this?
No, I didn't. I did not know that was a thing. So yeah, that's.
You should look that up. It's pretty depressing. that there was this there was a major loophole in our immigration system, and there was bipartisan attempts to fix it in Congress, and it was sabotaged basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's true. If you look, you'd be surprised. It really is true. The Republican lawmakers who wrote the bill
Yeah.
blame
Well,
Trump for making the calls to
I don't support that.
Congress. Anyways, yeah, fair enough.
I mean,
This is what a lot of the conversations with like lefties are. Is like if I or someone hears that you voted for Trump, they're gonna be like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. And then if I bring up like a specific thing that's like, makes me hate Trump, you'll be like, well, yeah, I don't like that.
yeah.
But I think it's often like that with people on the left too.
I voted for Yang in 2020, so I wrote his name in. Fucking.
What do you think about the deportations and stuff? Do you think that
Man, I see.
so like
This
so like
is, yeah.
they said we were gonna like deport like criminals,
Yeah.
but it seems like there weren't that many criminals to deport to get the millions of illegals that we were promised.
Yeah.
And now we're deporting a lot of people that aren't criminals.
I guess the question is how many illegal people. No human's illegal, but how many people are undocumented in this country? Like, what is that number? I don't know what that number is.
It's known. It's studied. I don't know what it is.
Is it known? Is it known?
It's known.
Are you sure? But isn't it literally
There's
unknowable?
a bunch of. I mean, you can't get a precise number, but you don't even know how many people, like how many citizens there are. Like these things all have to be estimated. Like you have to use statistical tools, and there are ways to track. There are a lot of different ways to estimate and track.
If I was dictator of the country and everybody had to do what I said, I would create one list that had everybody within the borders physically that was on that list. It would just be a list of names or whatever with like numbers on it. Your citizen number 6 million.
The census tracks undocumented immigrants.
Yeah, but isn't that like literally impossible? Like I thought like the whole point of being undocumented is that we don't know where you are. You can be anywhere.
No. The point is that you're not like you don't have like legal documentation to reside here. But like when a census worker comes, like this, when a census worker comes, you're not at threat of being deported.
Yeah, but if I'm an illegal dude and I'm in a house and a census guy comes, I'm going out the back door. Fuck you, I'm not going to tell you where I am. I mean, I know what I would do in that situation. If I was in this country illegally, I would avoid anybody with a clipboard. I'm not going near you. So, I hope I'm not being crazy here. All I'm saying is that we don't know how many people
I get what you're saying. No, we don't know a precise number, but there are a variety of measures to get a general idea of how many undocumented.
Well, I've heard numbers like 20 or 30 million. Like, I don't know if that makes sense. I've heard 12 million. They keep saying numbers like, oh, there's 1 million a year coming in for the past 15 years. And it's like, okay, so that's 15 million, right? They're somewhere. It's just as a programmer, as like a data guy, it makes me uncomfortable having free floating data points that aren't attached to a system, right? And then you get into like digital ID. Do we need to be attached into a system? Where does that lead? And it's like, so, like I think we
use statistics to figure out. So the census does count this, and the state has a big incentive because I believe apportionments are given.
Sure.
I think undocumented. So this is one of those things that like Elon, I think, was really mad about is that your representatives are affected by the amount of representatives you get are affected by the number of illegal immigrants. I believe this is the case. So the state has an incentive to accurately count the and to actually count the undocumented workers. The places with lots of undocumented workers. And they can talk to the landlord, I think, to get various things. It's not like I've never spoken to a census worker, so there's all sorts of statistics involved in performing the census, anyways.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm being lied to no matter what. I don't know who knows the truth. You know what I mean? I don't care what Fox or CNN is telling me. Yeah, like kind of the world. Like, who do we trust to give us the right number? I don't trust Trump to say, oh, there's 35 million people. Like, how do you know that? And like you're gonna hear,
but
I just think there should be a track. There should be a list. Like simply, like I can write the code for it today. I can make you a database that has 8 billion rows in it or whatever. 350 million,
Yeah.
and let's just get everybody to have an index. It would make voting easier. So
Why?
yeah.
What do you think people who have been here for 15 years should be given? So, for example, my girlfriend has family that's undocumented.
If
They've been here a long time, so they've got like kids that are citizens because they've been here, and the kids are like 20, and the parents are like 55, and they're having to like, you know, there's like whole networks of like, where the fuck is ICE today? Are they doing a raid in Pasadena today? Are they doing raids here today? And these are people who've been working for 25 years, who raised a family and are contributing members of society. And it's a lot. The crime rate on Hispanic immigrants is lower, adjusted for age, than natives.
It just sucks because like the right answer is a time machine where you go back in time and we document them when they come in, right? Like, why didn't they get documented when they first come in? What was fucked up?
Why don't we document them now?
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, at some point,
if they've been here for 10 years, why not, say, okay, you have a provisional, as long as you don't commit any crimes, you'll get a pathway to citizenship.
If there was a trustworthy system in place and then if we were limiting, like, there has to be some kind of limit on how you come in. You have to come in through a portal of some kind, right? You can't just walk in, live here, and then you get citizenship. Like, there needs to be like we're checking your background. I don't know how they do it, whatever their system is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that should exist.
What do you do about people that before there was a system, an adequate system for doing this? People who've been here for 20 years.
I don't know. That's a tough call. There's two answers. You either got to go tough.
Do you think they should be?
You got to go tough love and make some tears and ruin some lives, or you got to go, we're gonna just call it, and you guys are all documented. We're gonna say, okay, this is the line, this is the cutoff.
It seems you don't really care much either way. You're not very passionate about immigration.
I am not passionate about immigration. I think that's fair to say. I want clean data. That's like how I see it. I'm like, can we just get an accurate count of who's here, right? And like, yeah, if they're here and they're like contributing to society, it would feel wrong to get rid of them. But they also came here under like a lie. But then did they lie, or did some politician get them in? And like, who fucked up? Somebody fucked up. That's how I see it. Like, somewhere somebody fucked up, and I don't know who fucked up. But like to the extent that like a nation isn't just like lines on the ground. Like, a nation is the people. And if we have people here who are in the nation, but some of them aren't, like, are we saying that the nation is only people that are citizens? Then who are the people that are here that aren't? Are they not Americans? And like, we have to define a nation. I think like there needs to be like a definition of what an American is. And right now there's this weird double definition where it's like, well, they've been here 15 years. Aren't they American? It's like, are they? How are we defining this?
Well, I mean, they can get deported, right? They can get deported anytime.
Yeah.
And the current administration is like, we're going to get all the drug dealers and criminals. But yeah, I don't know. There's just not that many.
It comes back around to me to like, if everybody just stopped lying, we'd be fine. If everybody told the truth for like a week, we could solve this problem. If ever get rid of all the incentives, because I know that there's people out there that are lying for some reason. Some people need illegals to come in so they can pay cheap labor. Like, we have like corporate interests that are like scheming, and we have like, there's schemers and liars out there who are fucking everything up for people who are relatively innocent. Like, should somebody in the year 1995 have come over here illegally? Like, should they have done that? Like, if they were like morally correct? Probably not. Aren't they violating like? But then what is morality? Are we saying that like being a nation has like some sort of like special moral place, and that like they're probably just doing this because it's in their own best interest to come over here and get a job and have a family? And then I'm an asshole for kicking out a kid that was born here. Like, the ones that are born here, you're sending them to a country they've never even been to or whatever, right? And it's like...
Right. Well, they're citizens, so you can't even really do that.
Yeah, it's a fucked up
we have
moral situation. And if it was up to me, I would be like, okay, no lying. Everybody stop lying. We're going to count everybody.
If someone lied, if someone had lied 20 years ago...
They committed...
it's not...
they committed a sin. It's like the same thing as like if I murder somebody and you don't catch me until 15 years later, then it's like, well, come on, man, it was
Well,
15
yeah,
years.
well, there's no statutory. What's the term? Not statutory.
Yeah.
A statute of limitations. There's no statute of limitations on murder, but many crimes do have a statute of limitations. So I think kind of the intuitive feel is that like maybe illegally immigrating, like we didn't want you in, we couldn't really verify you were here, but then you came in and you did a whole bunch of work, taxed work, where you're not going to receive any social security for any of that shit. So we benefited like crazy from having you here.
Yeah, it's a really, really complicated issue because then there's also the issue of they're taking jobs of people who would otherwise be paid minimum wage because they're illegal. And then it's like, well, do we want to be paying people minimum wage? Maybe more work gets done because we can pay them under the table. And then you're like, what are we talking about? You get like 8 layers of like this conversation. And to me, like the real
It's an economic question, but I think it can, that you can get little local areas where wages go down, but I think generally wages, like if you look in SoCal,
yeah,
fuckloads of immigration, but like wages are high in SoCal.
Yeah.
Costs are high, but wages are high.
Yeah, I guess I feel like we should just
It's a complicated economics.
Yeah, I don't feel passionately about it.
Immigration.
I think it's a problem. There are problems. Like I don't know.
What do you think about last thing today? Did you see the shooting today or yesterday?
Is this the lady that got shot in her car?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I have tried to not even point my brain in that direction because I know what it is. I know that you called it a scissor issue, which is. I could tell just from like the first glance on Twitter at it that I'm like, this is one of those things. This is the next George Floyd type thing. It's not going to be at that level, hopefully, but like I'm sure there's protests happening already wherever it happened. But yeah, it looked.
This is more of a scissor than George.
It looked to me like a lady was. I don't know why her car was sideways on the road. I don't know what had happened leading up to that event. It looked like a lady was out of control, and then a cop shot her through the windshield, which was like probably not the right decision. It looked wrong. It didn't look good,
Yeah.
Like, but I have zero. Yeah. I literally saw like a 4-second. I saw a car moving towards him. He looked like he was going to get hit by a car, but also I know in my own head, I'm like, dude, jump out of the way. Your life's not really in danger in that moment. Like, I don't think
he does pretty successfully move out of the way.
It was
like falls back. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, the other problem is like, I don't know the context. Is this lady out of her goddamn mind? Was she trying to run people over before that clip? It's always like, then you're the asshole. You're like, well, let's see the body cam footage. Let's wait for the footage to come out. And it's like, man.
Sometimes the footage really changes things. With there was this big scissor issue. It was Rittenhouse.
Yeah.
The first night that happened, I was really upset, and then I saw more footage, and then I was like, well, okay, I guess he was defending himself. I wouldn't have gone out. You probably shouldn't be at protests with your giant machine gun.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he did. But I guess you could do that in America, and if people are chasing you with guns, you got a gun.
I don't remember which store he was in front of.
I was pretty glad when he was.
It was like a Walmart. I just like the idea of like, I need to go defend that Walmart. Like, they're not going to.
No, it wasn't a Walmart. It was a car dealership. Like a local car dealership.
That he had no
someone who
relation to.
Someone who knew the guy asked him to come.
Okay.
He had a minor relationship to it. It'd be like a fellow smasher asking you to camp out their venue with a machine gun.
Yeah, no, hell no. You're not gonna catch me with that. But that's a recipe for disaster. But yeah.
Okay. It is very late. We talked a long time.
Sure.
This was it was a good talk. It was good to meet you, Matt.
It was. You too. You too.
I move back to the Bay in August when I finish my master's. If ever you're in NorCal, you can always hit me up.
All right.
Or if I'm in SoCal, maybe I'll hit you up.
Yeah. Thanks for talking. This is good. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Take care.
Peace.
Bye.